We are finally back at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We were just here several months ago for an actual points-paying race. Tonight, though, it is all about the fun and the stars that make the fun on the racetrack. Welcome to the Drop in the Hammer pre-race show in anticipation of the All-Star Race for Season 7 of the 4Wide Racing TJ's Team Series, and with our coverage live on the KBueno Racing Network. We're so happy to bring you back to All-Star action just like we did last season, where alongside Francisco Bacalhau and Keelan Belsha in the booth, I'm Kenneth Bueno. We'll be joined by Charlie Beyer in just several moments with a pretty surprise interest look on what is going down with him. Well, Francisco, we just came off of a heated race at Kansas Speedway last week. Obviously part of the regular season, drivers fighting for playoff points for a playoff ticket at the end of the season. Tonight, though, it's all about letting the cars rip and having a bit of fun along the way.
Yeah, tonight is all about having fun and just going all out with no significant points on the line. The top 10 do get some kind of bonus, but it's nothing like a normal points-paying race, so I expect the full field to just have a good time with it and try some bold strategies that maybe we normally wouldn't see. But you mentioned that there at Kansas was an unbelievable race, just fantastic racing all around, and the drama at the end of the race, spoiler alert, Scott Healy prevails in the overtime restart to take the win away and win for the first time in Season 7, Kenneth.
Well, we'll touch on that in just several moments, but to you, Keelan, I mean, this All-Star race, you think about it, and for the most part in real life, you've got a big cash prize to go with it, grand prize, but in the sim, not so much. We do have something on the line at the end of tonight, but it isn't necessarily big to, you know, a win or a championship postseason appearance. It does help you get there, but this night is all about just going back to the spirit of what leagues are all about. Having fun, getting on the racetrack with your fiercest competitors, and just trying to go all out. And I think you may see some risks taken that you wouldn't see often in the regular season here tonight from Las Vegas.
Yeah, it's all about good times with your buddies and putting together a good run tonight. And Lance Hill touched on it last week in his post-race interview. He said he wants an all-star race win. Bragging rights are on the line tonight, Kenneth. That is so important to some of these guys. Boston Peel said if he could get a championship, he wants to get an all-star race win. So that's what he and many other guys are shooting for tonight. Those bragging rights, oh so important.
And this is the format for the All-Star race that we'll have for Season 7. We'll start with our 35-lap open race, into which the top 3 finishers will advance, along with the next 2 that are highest in the point standings. And then whoever has the fan vote win will enter the main race that'll happen later on tonight. 100 laps around this Las Vegas Motor Speedway to the tune of about 150 miles. The fan vote is nearly done, but it can still be voted on. So if you do want to get involved watching here on the KBueno Racing Network, you can go to 4wideracing.com and get the link there, or visit 4WR Racing on X. Go on their Twitter page and see the Google form where you can submit which driver you want to see in the All-Star race. Still a bit of time before we get the All-Star race open going. All of the drivers still trying to qualify for the main race later on tonight. And you can also take a look at the top right. Those who are qualifying into the main event already don't have to race in the open. A full 21 cars total that we'll have already locked in. Let's get a look, though, at what happened last week at the virtual Kansas Speedway, where it was a wild one, and Scott Healy, the Season 2 champ, ended up on top. But it took a while for him to get his rhythm going. Francisco, Mikey Neal, and Curtis Kelly among those on the front row. For Neal, it was his first career pole. Fireworks already on the opening lap of the race. Christopher Bishop and several others getting collected. And we had several crashes to break up the action. There's that yellow and black Chevrolet of Scott Healy moving on by. But it all starts right here. This bit of strategy from Steven Maggio to take 2 tires, and it resulted in great battles across the racetrack.
Yeah, the early cautions definitely led for some strategy calls to happen, and we saw Scott Healy not really up in the front towards the beginning of the race, but that would soon change. Mikey Neal was on a tear in the last run of the race, closed up to your top 3 consisting of Lawson Peel and Steven Maggio, and then late in the going, a caution flag would end up flying. You're seeing it on the screen right now. Christopher Bishop makes contact here with Craig Parks, bring out the yellow flag, setting us up for a green-white checkered restart. There's the move being made by Maggio, and Mikey Neal trying to hold on to the lead. Keelan just lost control.
Yeah, lost control right off of the corner right there. Got into the gas a little too hard. Rear tires spun, and he slid in the grass to bring out a yellow, and it came down to a second overtime attempt led by Steven Maggio with an opportunity to get his 5th win of the season. It was him and Lawson Peel dicey down the backstretch. They both lose control. Somehow don't wreck the field, but scooting by in all the chaos was Scott Healy in his Team Conti 64 machine. He ended up rounding the racetrack to take his first win of the season. The former champion got his first career win at Kansas last week to visit Paul's setup shop Victory Lane.
And also his first win since Season 6 at Chicagoland, a race where he definitely dominated the late stages of that one. And this one, it was kind of more about being a little lucky than just being good at the end of that race. And as Lawson Peel and Steven Maggio ended up swerving across that back straightaway, it's still kind of pondering how they didn't crash anyone else on the way back to turn 3. Healy had the clear track ahead of him to get the race victory, and it was also a lot of fun to see that. Healy will be qualified for tonight's All-Star main race later on in the evening because of that win and because of his previous win last season, as we aforementioned, at the virtual Chicagoland Speedway. Las Vegas is known for many memories across this 4-wide racing series, but it also holds plenty special memories for the KBueno Racing Network, and that's why in today's KBRN Moment in Time, we go several years back to another original series on this channel that brought a lot of fun, a lot of stellar racing, and some drama along the way. Welcome to today's KBRN Moment in Time. This moment comes from early 2021 and an original lead to KBRN, the iRacing Bundren Lawn Care Series from Las Vegas. Off of turn 4, pace truck is off to the left, and we are playoff racing from Las Vegas. As one of the races in the heart of the playoffs, Las Vegas added the extra pressure for the Green Banner drivers looking to advance into Homestead, and the racing was fierce early on. While Parker White dominated the goings, it wouldn't take long for the first caution of the race that involved playoff driver Aiden Kirker. Track position mattered heavily in the event, and in the attempt to get some of it, there were fireworks. Playoff drivers Blaze McKinney found trouble with Glenn Bundren on the backstretch, followed by a bizarre accident that took a strong Parker White out of the race. This left one playoff driver to fight for the win at the end, Cole Williams, who tried to beat Sartaj Mon to the line in the final laps, but could not do it. Mon would take the win at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, adding a spoiler to a heavily contested championship fight. And that's today's KBRN Moment in Time. Wonderful memory there from Las Vegas back in 2021, quite a long time ago. Francisco, you were racing in that. Charlie, you were in the broadcast booth with me for that. I think we both had plenty of thoughts about how that race went for Francisco. A walk back in memory time. I didn't really want to roast you or anything when I look back at this race, but I realized that it happened with you and Parker White there. But still a great race regardless.
Yeah, I look back on that, Kenneth, and it was a really dumb mistake on my part. I was texting under caution over an incident that happened under the green flag, and I did not notice that we had caught up to the pace car, and unfortunately Parker White was a victim of mine, of my ARCA braking skills. So sorry to champion of the eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series, Parker White. But I was only new to iRacing at the time. I was only 3 months old, but that's certainly not one of my better memories, Charlie.
You know, not often do you end up punting an eNASCAR champion without even knowing it several years before, but still, I mean, great race there. Sartaj Mon getting the victory, Cole Williams in that. I mean, that was in the middle of a really hectic playoff fight in that series here at Las Vegas, so really cool to go back in the memory bank and see what happened there. But sometimes we look at the rear view mirror with a bit more context, and for tonight, we did have an All-Star race last season. Kyle Benson joined us for the All-Star Open, and this was where we were at, North Wilkesboro Speedway, a very different look with a very different car to the NASCAR Xfinity Series machine. This was the end of the All-Star Open, dominated by Dark Horse Motorsports' Trevor Haley, who will be in the Open, by the way, later on tonight in this Open. Then there's Luke Canup, Lawson Peel leading us to the green flag of the main race. That was 150 laps. Lawson getting into some drama there out of turn 2, bit of contact. And really here, Keelan, this race had its fair share of carnage, lots of chaos because it is a short track, but we did have plenty of long green flag racing, and it came down to these two right here. Luke Canup, who spent a majority of this race at the front, and Brandon Hawken, who was trying to catch him the whole race.
See Lawson Peel go for a slide there. Eric Schaefer and his Bush Light machine driving around some traffic right there at North Wilkesboro. When you think of North Wilkesboro, sometimes, Kenneth, you think of chaos, and that is what we had in the early stages of this race. But it was all Luke Knupp on his way to the checkered flag as he went on to win the Season 6 All-Star race. Don't think he's in the field tonight. I haven't seen him, so he may not have a shot to repeat, but there is several drivers who want to get a couple spots better tonight.
Yeah, and we'll see Trevor Haley as well there as he qualified from the Open, making it into the main, as he's going to be here with some of his teammates for Dark Horse Motorsports as that camp has expanded for the 2025 edition of this series. You know, it will be interesting to see how they can work together as they will try to get the top 3 finishing positions later on tonight. And speaking of the Indiana native in Haley, let's bring him in for our pre-race interview just before we get started here on the Drop in the Hammer pre-race show. Trevor, you got a copy with us?
Yeah, I gotcha.
All right, Trevor. Well, it was almost a year removed, about a couple of months actually, from your All-Star Open win in dominating fashion at North Wilkesboro. How different is this trip around in the All-Star Open for you tonight?
Well, we got a different car and a different track, so it'll be a bit of difference, but yeah, we'll see how it plays out.
Some teammates along with you, so I know that Juan Escamilla will be there with you along with several of the other Dark Horse Motorsports Ford Mustangs. What are you going to try to learn through this open race as you try to advance into the main later tonight?
Just work on trying to save tire, so that way if I get in the main tonight, I can hopefully have more speed there towards the end of the runs.
All right, Trevor. Well, hopefully things go well in the Open tonight, just like they did one season ago at North Wilkesboro. Thank you for taking some of the time to talk with us, and best of luck in the Open race later on.
All right, thank you, Kenneth.
That is Trevor Haley, driver of the number 4 Ford Mustang Dark Horse for Dark Horse Motorsports, and one of the stellar rookies from last season's campaign of this series, Francisco. Very, very impressive to see what Trevor has been able to do. But he's not the only rookie out on the racetrack, or at least one of the younger drivers out on the racetrack tonight, because we have a very special guest out there on the Speedway putting in laps, and that's our very own Charlie Beyer in his KBRN Ford Mustang.
How do you feel, Charlie?
What's going on, you guys?
There he is. All right.
I will. I'll do some burnouts for you here. I'll do my best to give you guys some perspective, but this car is new to me, and I'm well past my so-called prime from a few years ago. So I'll do my best for you guys tonight. I'm repping the colors, and we'll see how it goes.
You know, Kenneth, I think the kids these days call it unk status.
Yeah, I mean, I already get called unk on the daily basis, and I get called unk by Charlie, too. So I don't know where it's all going from here. But Charlie, I mean, you've already put in some laps. Las Vegas is a very intricate oval with these next-gen cars. What have you seen out there on track, and what have you seen from the competition around you while they're putting laps with you, too?
Well, everything I've learned about this car on this track has come within the last 30 minutes. So, I'm not too familiar with these cars. I don't even know what a steering pinion is. I assume that's similar to steering ratio. So that kind of gives you a glimpse of where I'm at right now. So, but I don't think 5th on the board or 6th on the board in practice is too bad. So I've had some history at this track back in the old ice car days. So I'm coming in this with a we'll see how it goes type of mentality. Flying
by the seat of your pants. I kind of like that idea. But Charlie, I mean, we'll cheer on you over the course of this open race to see if you can get in. Maybe we'll roast you along the way, but I can't really guarantee any of that. So thank you.
I fully understand. I mean, I'm giving you guys the green flag to do that.
All right, Charlie, we appreciate the time. Best of luck in the open later tonight.
Thank you.
That's Charlie Beyer. Hopefully we can talk to him later on in the going, whether it's through the open in a caution period or maybe if he ends up making that top 3 till the end, to the main race later on tonight, Francisco. I'd say that he's got a pretty decent shot. I mean, top 6 in the practice charts right now. Obviously, the fastest car in practice usually isn't the fastest car in the race. So I'd say Charlie has got some pretty good pace over the course of this session.
Yeah, absolutely. He definitely gives himself an opportunity to advance. It's just going to come down to how can he manage the traffic and the race where he qualifies and just how the race pans out, whether it's a flag-to-flag fair or depending how many yellow flags we see. But you can definitely give Charlie Beyer a fair shot at it and being able to advance to the next round. But, I mean, I like the reference that they're flying by the seat of your pants, given the fact that we're both pilots.
Yeah, I'm definitely not, but you guys are. Charlie hopefully won't be flying through the skies in this race. I really hope that's not the case. Hopefully he'll be flying to the front of the field. But Keelan Belsha, take us through Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Second time we're here officially. First time we're here for the All-Star race.
One of my favorite tracks in real life, Ken. It's just a great racetrack. Wish they'd move the championship here. It was opened in 1996 as a 1.5-mile oval, 20-degree banking on both ends of the racetrack, and has been home to some great races here in 4 wide and in the real NASCAR scene. Lawson Neal, the winner earlier this season, him and Curtis Kelly had a good race coming on earlier. And Francisco, he took us for a lap back here a couple months ago, and I think it's the same one, Francisco.
Yeah, I mean, why not recycle some old footage, am I right? So we go through turns 1 and 2 at Las Vegas. Got to get real low, but be careful. There's some bumps down there on the racetrack, and it could cause you to lose a little bit of corner and grip and force you up the track. And then 3 and 4, very critical. You definitely want to get as low as you can. Try to grip that paint. That gives you a little bit more grip to get through the corner. Otherwise, the outside wall is your best friend.
And there's a lap around Las Vegas Motor Speedway as we see it. We did visit here before, as Keelan mentioned Lawson Peel getting the win here and actually locking his way into the playoffs. Courtesy, that was his first win of this 2024-25 season. We're going to take a look quickly, though, at what we are to expect for those in the All-Star main. These are all of the drivers qualified, 21 total. You've got several race winners from this season already, several race winners from last season, plenty of drivers who have captured poles, and plenty of guys who are in it for the very first time. Guys like Nicholas Baumann, Kyle Churchak. You look at Francisco Bacallao, who will be joining us in the booth right now, but he will be on track for the main race later on tonight. And you've got plenty of other big names in there as well, from the likes of Lawson, Lautenslager, Kyle Benson, Jaden Porter, Tyler Murray, and plenty of others, including Scott Healy, the winner from last week at the virtual Kansas Speedway. So that is the list. All the drivers that have made it through the qualifying session, and they will not be racing in this open later on tonight in just a couple minutes. They will be in that main race for 100 laps and a look at some possible bonus points that will give them an opportunity to either get ahead of the competition or etch their way into the 4-wide racing series playoffs. Keelan, I want to ask you one thing before we kind of get started. How are you feeling tonight? How are you feeling about everything that's going to go on in this race?
I'm doing excellent, Kenneth. I'm glad you asked. We're getting ready for some great racing at Las Vegas. One of my favorite tracks on the sim. One of Charlie's favorite tracks on the sim. I know he hates when I say that, but I think is one of his.
Hold on, guys. I'm sorry. I think I'm gonna have to interrupt this. I mean, I like the energy we got here for this evening, you guys, but I'm not sure. I'm just not too confident in being able to do this here tonight.
That's kind of odd, you know. Keelan, what do you think?
I mean, I got 3 people who are sitting out back. If you want to bring them up here.
Oh,
really?
Let's bring them in.
Interesting. I want to know who these 3 are, because it's kind of interesting. I don't know. You know, we've been on this series for so long. I wonder who can take our place. Why don't we bring in our special guests for tonight's All-Star Open coverage? Kyle Benson, Lawson Peel, and Jaden Porter. What's going on, guys?
Feeling good. Feeling great. About yourselves?
Let's do this thing.
We're doing really good, and this is going to be a lot of fun because we've never done a drivers-only broadcast. Kyle Benson has been a part of our coverage twice, once at COTA, then in our All-Star Open last season. Lawson, Jaden, you guys are kind of rookies out here. Y'all are veterans in this series, but not to the broadcast booth. How are y'all feeling right now?
I'm ready to go, Kenneth. No, not at all.
Well, maybe Kyle can show you the ropes a little bit, but this will be a lot of fun in today's race, and we'll see exactly how it all goes. But those 3 will give you the coverage of the All-Star Open race, as all of the guys 20 plus as we see it are going to look to try and qualify into the main race that these guys will be taking part of later on this evening. So we'll touch in with them in just a couple of moments, but on behalf of all of us here, that does it for our coverage of the Drop in the Hammer pre-race show. But do not step out of your seat. We'll be right back with more coverage of the 4-wide racing TJ's Team Series and all the All-Star action from the virtual Las Vegas Motor Speedway.
It is feature time in Tulsa. Let's go green. He's got the run, but is it enough? It's a drag race to the finish. Culver goes from third to first in the last quarter.
Experience the world's most legendary racing events with iRacing. iRacing special events allow any member to compete in full-length multiplayer races based on some of the biggest events in motorsports all year round. Compete in virtual endurance races such as the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, and the Nürburgring 24 Hours. Take on some of the toughest races on the NASCAR calendar, such as the Daytona 500 and the Coke 600. We have races from disciplines across the racing world, from the Indy 500 to the Chili Bowl, from the Bathurst 1000 to the Crandon Championship. Our endurance special events utilize iRacing's team feature, where members can sign up and race together on their own team, swapping drivers throughout the race. Other events use iRacing Super Sessions, where you're not only racing against those on track, but against everyone taking part. As every race progresses, watch and feel the track change, with progressive time of day, dynamic weather and rain, and dynamic track debris and surface changes. Take on your favorite discipline, or try a brand new racing challenge with our biggest races of the year, the iRacing Special Events. Learn more at iracing.com/special-events.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Let's go. What's up? Yo, what's up, Kenneth? What's going, man? How are you? Good. How you been? What you got in the bag, man?
I got a panini. I have a hoagie. I got it all through the Wall Rewards app.
You can order it all through the app?
You can order it all through the app.
I can order it all through the app. The world is my oyster! By placing your order on the Wawa app, you can pick up at any time with ultimate satisfaction. Gotta have a Wawa.
World of Outlaws Dirt Racing 24 will be available September 17th. Pre-order your copy today.
All right, they gave us the reins, so I am Kyle Benson. I am joined with my race compadres. We got Jaden Porter and Lawson Peel. We're ready to go, man. We traded out the race suits for broadcast suits. Lawson, are you ready to go, man? Jaden, I gotta get your thoughts here. I mean, we're racers, we're racing, but now we're in the booth, so I gotta get your thoughts here. I mean, I've done this a few times, had a little fun, but what y'all feeling?
I'm a little nervous about this. I've been for the past couple of days a little nervous about broadcasting. Not really good at it. Wish I was racing, but I'm happy to be in the booth with you guys.
I mean, it's happy to have you. I mean, we're ready to go, man. We're just gonna talk, man. It's gonna be like nothing else. We're gonna be talking to each other like we're at a bar or something. Lawson, how you feel, buddy?
Man, I feel good. You know, I've wanted to give this a shot for a while. I don't know if I'll be any good at it. Probably a little overconfident in my abilities. Wouldn't be the first time that's happened, but yeah, I'm glad we're giving this a shot. Should be fun. Try not to botch it, and then we get on track later and try to maybe just continue the nice camaraderie we got going on here in the booth onto the track. So, what do y'all think?
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm happy to be here. Happy to be here. I am very thankful for Kenneth letting us be up here, but coming down to it, man. You got the qualified drivers, you got myself. I think everybody in the booth has definitely gotten here, but we got some nice names here. Rodney Roberts, Lance Hill, Brandon Banks was doing some good stuff. Probably won Dega or something. I can't remember. Mikey Neal got a clutch pole last week. You know, Steven Maggio, one of the hot shoes, one of the rookies this year. He's been doing really well, and you know, I have to put him in here. The league owner himself, Tyler Murray, pushed him to a win. I will take credit to that one. But you know, how do you guys feel about, you know, just these guys qualifying in? I mean, I think it's going to be a good show.
Yeah, we got a long list here. Yeah, I think Brandon's won Talladega a couple of times, if I remember correctly. Scott Healy snuck in there with a win last week. Steven Maggio and I got into a little chicanery on the backstretch there, and man, Scott, he just swept in there and took one. So good for him. I know that's his first win in a while, but yeah, Tyler qualifying in here after his Talladega win last year. That's awesome. You know, Hawkins won a bunch. He's obviously no surprise there. But yeah, we got a long list. Lots of guys have won races, won poles, so that's good to see.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited. I'm definitely excited for this. A little nervous, but we're gonna, you know, take the bull by the horns. We're gonna ride the ship. So, you know, we're just out here, just go and run it. I mean, Jaden, how do you feel about these guys coming in?
I feel great about these guys coming in. There's some new names on there. I'm excited to race against Francisco later tonight. Haven't raced against Francisco in a while. So there's plenty of new names too. Mikey Neal, he's really quick on these mile and a halves, so he'll be fun to race tonight. And yeah, it's gonna be really fun tonight.
Got a cat back there, Benson?
Yeah, we got a cat. There's a cat right there. She's chilling.
Cat guy.
Yeah, I like cats. Cats, dogs, they're all good. All good pets. We love them. But
Jaden's a Wildcat fan, I think.
Oh yeah, big Wildcat fan.
Big Wildcat guy.
They want without any kind of cat affiliation over here.
Hey, listen. I mean, but here we are. We're getting down to it, getting to the starting grid. Definitely these guys are ready to go. So, you know, ready to rock. On the pole, it's the Indiana Hot Shoe. Trevor Haley, the winner of last year's All-Star Open. And then we got Curtis Kelly, the Canadian, on the outside row. Juan Escamilla, the Boilermaker, in third. And we got Tristan Bailey, my Murray Reader Motorsports teammate, starting fourth.
Duncan Fall, number 50, will be fifth. And Gabriel Dahari at sixth place, 36 car. And we got Austin Reedy from MRMS. He'll be rolling off P7. And Dusty Applin in P8.
We got Christopher Bishop in P9. JJ Hill in P10. And then we have Michael Newbraw in P11 and Daniel Moore in P12.
And then starting shotgun on the field is KBRN's awesome host, awesome dude, Charlie Byer, and then we got Cody Kinsey back there too. Jason Hastings in the 49 on the inside rope, row 8. Timothy Cook starting on the outside of row 8. And then we know Jaden Porter's just
back up. Yeah,
Yeah.
Jaden. I don't know why he's in this session.
Yeah.
But he's on this grid somehow, some way. I
Same
don't
with
know if
Scott.
you see him on the track, but
just ruining it for everybody as usual.
I'm not used to being in the booth.
That's
And,
all right.
I don't know if we're going to see Kip on track tonight either, but been a
Now
new
it's starting
teammate
to
of mine. Been enjoying working with him, and that's Eric Stewart, another teammate of mine. He's a Canadian.
We got a lot of Canadians. I'm surprised with the Canadians we got, man. I like it. We got a little vast array of everybody, you know. We got people from Indiana, Pennsylvania, Delaware, all over the world, and we all come here on Fridays. Not Fridays. Wow, Wednesdays. Sorry. But you know, we're gonna talk to somebody that I know best. It's Mr. Austin Reedy. Hello. I'm in the booth. You're on the racetrack. How do you feel, buddy? I see that Flow Racing 34. You're looking nice, mighty sporty out there.
Pretty good. I got a little tight in qualifying, but we still hung on a 7th. But I think we'll be pretty quick. We're usually pretty good here. Track's a little cooler than what we just qualified in, and I think we just got to look after the tires for 35 laps. Will be fun.
I mean, what's the motive here? Do you just go balls out for 35 laps, or are you just a little safe for a little bit? I mean, what's the strategy here? If you don't mind me asking.
Probably to stay within this I'd say top 7, top 8 breakaway. I don't think you want to be a couple seconds back and then trying to make it up. So we'll try to save tire when we can and just try to stay with this lead pack. It's going to be probably a little drafty. That's how Vegas is in these things. But try to just be up front just in case for that caution.
Reedy, it's your buddy Lawson. I got 2 questions for you. Where are you located tonight, and is your internet going to hold up?
Internet's strong as ever. We're back in the home bedroom, so we'll be good for tonight. So, haven't raced in the hotel in a while, trying to get away from that because it sucks. But yeah, we'll be all right tonight with internet.
Good to hear. Good luck out there, man.
Thank you.
Austin Reedy, driver of the 34 Flow Racing Ford Mustang, looking mighty sporty out there. You know, the person who made that scheme is our very own Tyler Murray. He makes a lot of paint schemes for almost everybody. Yeah, I mean, it's a very nice looking paint. I mean, reminds me a lot of the Michael McDowell one that ran. I can't remember where that ran. But it definitely looks pretty sporty. But 35 laps. Weather's looking pretty nice though. 83 degrees. Track temp's 97, so a little roasty, but a nice little wind from the south direction. I mean, track temp's kind of cooler than I would expect. I mean, definitely will be big though. Coming to the end, I mean, definitely gonna be hard.
So I'm noticing the wind there south at 7 miles an hour. Did y'all happen to notice the wind at Kansas last week?
Oh yeah, it was a nice little 4-wheel shove all the way up the racetrack coming out of turn 4. It was definitely something. But these
sure was.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, coming down the backstretch, I mean, last time around we're gonna be going green here. I mean, who do you got, man? I mean, we got some guys that we don't talk about a lot. I mean, I gotta let you know what your picks real quick.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Joe. No, you go ahead, Jay.
My pick is probably a dark horse. I'm gonna go with Duncan Fall. He ran really well at Kansas last week, so I'm expecting him to run well at another mile and a half.
I might have to go with Curtis Kelly there on the outside of the front row because I've just been noticing he's had great speed at this track as of late.
I was thinking the same thing too, but I got to take the man who won the Open last year, Trevor Haley, starting on pole. It's going to lead us here to green here. Pace car is going to pull off here in about a few seconds here. We're going to let it pull off, and we're gonna get some good going here. So Barney's ditching there on the flag stand. Coming out of turn 4, green flag is going to come out. We are racing in 4 wide for the Open.
Pretty orderly start here, Kyle. A little breakaway for those top 8.
Yeah, big wash by Trevor Haley. 3 wide in the middle. That's the rookie. I think it's Gabriel DeHari. Maybe a little contact with Trevor Haley coming to the line.
Action there.
Yeah, 3 wide. Looking 3 behind there. There's Austin Reedy looking on the apron. 3 middle for the 36. All Bland 36. but looking pretty good. Trevor Haley's got the run on the outside. He might get there, but we're going to see coming out of turn 4. He got a little tight coming out of turn 2.
Haley and Kelly side by side for the lead here.
Looking really, really strong. There's the dark horse that Jaden picked on the outside, running about 7th there. The 50, the all purple machine out there. Jaden, your pick's looking really good right now. I know it's lap 2 a little early, but he's looking pretty sporty.
He's looking good. I hope he's not abusing his tires up there on the outside. I don't know how big tire fall off's going to be with the temperature being down from last time we were here, but he's looking pretty good. Hopefully he continues it.
Yeah, I'm looking pretty good right now. They're about pack racing here, about lap 3. He's pretty tame for being in open. Kind of surprised, but you know, they got a big old arc for that 50. He's kind of right up there, up against the boards. I kind of like that line coming out of 4, but it just kind of depends. Here's a rear view look. The Charlie Byer photography on board. Hari's kind of looking pretty good. The Boilermaker, the 41 car, Juan Escamilla. On the bottom lane, Gabriel Dehari's his first 4-wide race, by the way. He joined about a few weeks ago.
There, Kyle.
Yeah,
new
face.
In the Loves machine there, Michael McDowell-esque, and he's very strong showing here in the early laps.
Yeah, the 35, Tristan Bailey. He shows up a few times. It just depends. You know, very, very busy man. He's got 2 kids.
Oh, that's Tristan. Okay.
Yeah, that's Tristan. Yeah.
Okay,
Hari's
at 36. That's my mistake.
36.
We had our first broadcasting fumble of the evening.
Oh, man. Look at Dusty Applin, though. He kind of came deep. To the field, running that outside lane.
Going on board with J.J. Hill here, right side of the screen. Curtis Kelly has secured the top spot for the time being.
You know,
He's got a run on Trevor. Well, you had a run on Trevor Haley a little bit.
You know, those guys are teammates. You know, they run each other a lot. There might be a little bit of teammate action. I mean, you know, draft is heavy in these cars. As Haley's going to look on just about in the mid lane, kind of just run that seam, putting the left sides on it, just getting that clean air. I mean, clean air is so paramount. He's going to get the run. He's going to push him down the back straightaway.
Yeah, I'm loving that move there, Kyle. You got to get some clean air on the nose here. Yeah, continuing to watch what Juan is doing there in P3. He can kind of dictate whether he's going to help Trevor get up there to challenge for the lead or go side by side with him and prevent that from happening. Now it looks like he's in a side by side battle back there.
Yeah, Tristan Bailey in the outside lane coming out of turn 4. Got a really good run coming out of 4, and now he's on the outside of Juan Escamilla again. Might get the spot here as the battle's starting to heat up a little bit up front.
Well, Trevor Haley is making a move to the bottom here and enter turn 3.
Yeah, he's going to stuff it in there into turn 3. Might get there coming out of turn 4.
Makes it stick. Real tight side by side here. Are they going to side draft each other? We'll see. And who's 35 going to push here?
35's got to make a choice here. Does he go? He might just say screw it and go middle and just try to take them both. But look at Dusty Applin coming deep from the field. He's going for it, man. I like it. I like seeing dudes that don't run a lot and run in the open. It just puts the spotlight on. And he's gonna get turned.
We turned him.
Coming into the entry of turn 3, Tristan Bailey's up on the outside wall. And we're going to have our first caution of the night. He's up on the outside wall, just kind of grinding to a halt.
What'd you see there, Jaden? What'd you see there?
Looks like a bad side draft to me.
I would concur. Yeah, you got to be careful when you are even. You can kind of get really close like that, but as one car pulls ahead and you get into what I call the hooking position, you really have to be cognizant of that. It can happen very easily.
Yeah, Dusty Applin was strong on night, and the Juan Escamilla got a little piece of it too on the outside lane. But Dusty made his move up through the field, and he was just being aggressive and just kind of coming together there. It looked like maybe a little bit of net code, but I'm not too sure. But here on board with Juan Escamilla, just comes in front of you, man. Can't really do much.
Juan, his toe link's broken, like the right front of the
I can see it right there.
Right front fender coming off the race car. Kind of see when the right front kind of slumps. Yeah.
I would assume that's at least 6 minutes of damage.
Yeah, the right front's not turning on that race car, but you got a lot of guys coming down pit road.
Looks like they're all coming here. About 8 green flag laps here, short race. How many tire sets they got here, Kyle?
Honestly, I think I want to say like about 2 or 3. I'm not too sure. But definitely, I like this move, just taking tires. Just kind of get like a feel of what the car's kind of doing. Just coming down pit road.
I wonder if anyone in the back is going to take 2 to try to get some track position.
That's definitely a move. I could definitely consider that, but you never know. I mean, it looks like Juan missed his box. We got Charlie Byer. Charlie Byer sitting there. How you doing, man? I mean, you feeling pretty good? I mean,
We're trying, man. I'm trying to settle into a rhythm. My objective has now changed to just beating JJ Hill. Good friend of mine, just want to beat him.
Nice
but no, we're trying to settle in here, trying to save some tires. I could just put some Goodyears on, 4 of them to be exact. So we're trying to make stuff happen, and we'll see how high we can get.
That's awesome, man.
Majority 4-tire calls there.
Yeah, it looked like Curtis Kelly won the run off pit road, and Charlie, you said this is not your strong suit, and I know this is your first time running a 4-wide competition, man, but you're doing pretty all right, man. You're holding it together. That's all you can ask for, really. I mean, I'm all for a good KBRN friendly rivalry, but right now you're running. How you feel, man? I mean, I know we were just talking to you about how you feel. I mean, the definitely widen out the lanes. I mean, you feeling pretty confident what you got?
Yeah, I feel okay. I'm really just trying to settle in. I think, being back here is a testament to the strength of field and 4-wide in general. I've seen plenty of races enough to say that this is just such a high-level league, and I'm just trying to do my best out here. So I got about 10 spots to make up if I want to be in that top 3, and who knows, maybe I'll go to work.
Hey, listen, man, I got all faith in you. I think you can do it, man. You just got to get up on that outside lane in 1 and 2 and just let her eat. I'm telling you, you'll get up there. But happy to talk to you, man. We're going to be pulling for you, buddy.
Thank you, guys. And maybe I'll try that. Who knows?
Don't actually fly the car, though.
Yeah, you can't fly the car. Yeah, don't try to do that.
We did have an incident of some cars flying at Talladega a couple of weeks ago. You love to see it and you hate to see it. Mostly hate to see it.
Yeah.
But we do have a report that Juan has some unrepairable damage here. So we'll see if he can keep up with the pack and look for an opportunity to get some more positions back. But looks like some pretty good damage on the 41 car.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. He was running really good. That's another dark horse teammate that's out of the race. But Jaden, your pick on the outside lane in row 1, he's looking pretty good. He gained a few spots, man. He might have taken 2 tires, I don't know. But going to come to the restart here. Curtis Kelly starting in first. You got Duncan Fall in second. Then Trevor Haley, Dusty Applin in the second row, and Austin Reedy. And I believe that's the 52. I can't see who that car is, just done goofing as always, but green flag is out. It's another restart here in the All-Star Open.
Not for Curtis there.
That's a very good jump. You got a good about car length, 2 car lengths back there to Trevor Haley, so he might be able to pull away here.
Yeah, Jaden's pick didn't get the best start there on the outside, but plenty of time to recover. He'll probably keep that in the memory bank for the next one if we have another one.
Yeah, and it's kind of tough. I mean, with this track being so draft heavy, it might just be like an accordion effect, It just might get a big run like Trevor Haley's going to get the center of 3 and 4, but just kind of pushing off exit, getting that dirty air, and way up he goes. And now here comes Austin Reed trying to make a challenge for third.
Hardy has a run off turn 4. He might think about taking it 3 into turn 1. I don't know if he will. He's looking. No, he's going to be side by side with Austin Reedy.
Yep, he's just going to put on the door to 34 Flow Racing Ford Mustang, and Duncan Fall just sitting there waiting in the wings. We got a nice little battle in the mid-pack here, about 3 wide mid-pack, but, Curtis Kelly's running that outside lane in the middle lane in 3 and 4, and he's just kind of holding them off here. There's Chris Bishop.
Haley's continuing to look for that clean air there, but a little bit of a looser pack here after that restart. They kind of got broken away from each other a little bit here, but as you noted, Kyle, you can draft right back up to each other. So we're seeing that now with some 3-wide action here. We got Bishop, got Craig Parks on the bottom there. They're going to go back to 2 wide, and we have the 35 car trying to make a comeback here from the incident a minute ago.
Now we're on Chris Bishop right here right now, but he is the fan vote leader right now. So, the poll is still open. Trevor Haley's in second, so I mean he's kind of coming up through. But we got Jonathan Jurgensmeyer and also Kevin D'Elia in the top 4 for the fan vote. But Chris Bishop is kind of like everybody's favorite grandpa. We all love him. But here comes Trevor Haley on the outside trying to make a move on the outside lane.
That was a really close side draft by Curtis. We almost had another incident like we did with Tristan Bailey and I believe it was Dusty Alpin.
With Dusty. But I mean, the guys are battling that 36 of the heart. He's just kind of looking there and just kind of sitting there. I thought he was going to get the run come out of 4. They're going to bang a little bit. They're going to bang doors.
Another tight one right there, Jaden.
Yeah, there comes the Hardy.
Looked like you and me in the spring there.
Yeah, the Hardy's looking, but he can't get there. He's going to get that clean air, though, on the nose. But
Curtis, hang on there. He's going to do it. He's going to hold on to that quarter panel.
Oh, he's gonna suck him back, but he can't get there. He's gonna be
Dahari's
3
huge
wide.
opportunity here for Dahari. If they keep doing this, he can certainly get a run here. He's gonna look down there. Oh man, that was close.
Oh, they're touching, they're rubbing a little bit. Nothing wrong with that. That's why we got 4 quarter panels. But give it a push for Killers Kelly. I mean, he's gonna hold on, but Dahari's looking, man. That 36 is hungry for the open.
Yeah, real impressed by him so far. He is fast. He's showing the speed there. Made the decision to push Kelly ahead there.
We got trouble. 2 cars sliding down in the bottom of the apron. 1 car on the one. I think it's Tristan Bailey in the Loves 35. New Brawl getting a piece of it.
Oh, Curtis almost wrecked it in turn 3 and
they're
4.
wrecking up there.
Oh,
we got Curtis Kelly around.
Curtis Kelly sliding through the grass. Now there's a caution out. Just, man, that's tough. The Canadian holding on for the open. Going around at the exit of turn 4 on the front stretch. We're going to get a replay here, but we're going to just see this first incident, though, with Tristan and Michael Newbraw. Tristan just trying to just being aggressive. You know, he was up front. And
it looks like Newbraw caught the wall slightly there.
A hard hit for that 35.
Might have to see another angle of that one. Not sure if the wall contact caused that or if it was just too tight off the corner there between those 3 cars.
Great job by Newbraw to keep it off the inside wall as well.
Yeah, definitely a good job by him. But just you're back there, just trying to get as much as you can. It's so hard to get through the field. And, you got to be aggressive, and sometimes you're too aggressive, you cause accidents. And unfortunately, that's one of those deals of being aggressive and unfortunately catching yourself out. It's a little pop in the inside wall, but I think that thing's kind of done for the night, which is unfortunate because Tristan had a fast race car.
He did.
Coming up through the field.
That's 2 incidents for him, and this was very similar to the 2008 wreck of Jeff Gordon back here. Jeff Gordon hit in that gap right there. Tristan barely got past that gap.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. That was when it was concrete. He hit that wall.
Barrier down there and just threw the engine right out of it, didn't it, Kyle?
Yeah, about did. But here's the look coming out of 4, and just Curtis Kelly just got tight, and and Dahari just being aggressive and just gets him in the left rear, and around he goes. And luckily, he keeps it all together. And, I mean, it looked pretty good. Nothing crazy going on, but, just hard racing coming up front. And, you're battling for the open, and sometimes you just get together. But I'm seeing a little strategy here. Some guys on pit road. Yeah, some guys on pit road.
Fall stayed out.
Yeah, Fall stays out. We got our eyes here on Charlie Byer, but, yeah, Duncan Fall staying out. He took 2 tires that last time, and we got some guys that didn't take tires this time. You got Timothy Cook up there and a fan vote leader, Chris Bishop. These guys, like I said, I like these opens, man, because you talk about guys that don't get a lot of the spotlight, but now with the open, we get to talk about them and show off their prowess a little bit. So I'm excited for it. Good to see. Look with Charlie Byer here on this caution. He was kind of up there in the mix. Just Biden this time, like you said, just saving tires, but. We're going to get an on-board look, just kind of riding behind Chris Bishop's machine, and, they just kind of go around in front of him, and he's going a little tight with Daniel Moore in the inside lane in the High Rock Chevy. But, just definitely tight, running back there with trying to get up there, man. He was running them good. He was up about 8th, 9th place. He's biding his time like he said he was, and, now he's up there outside row 2, so.
Yeah, I have a feeling he's just going to keep chipping away at it here, Kyle. I believe Trevor Haley is the first machine off of pit road on tires. Everyone ahead of him stayed out. So we'll see if that comes into play. Maybe if we get a few green flag laps here, if those cars that took some tires there can make a charge here late. Obviously, what they don't want to see is another quick caution.
Yeah, when you take those tires, man, you're just hoping it goes green all the way because you just have the advantage. And these tires, have a heat cycle in them. It's definitely hard to hold on to that advantage, and just kind of a sit and duck when those tires come up through. But these guys are ready to go. I mean, Trevor Haley has the first car on tires. We're looking at here on the Austin Reedy machine, but we're coming out of turn 4. We're gonna come for the restart.
And interestingly, Curtis Kelly did not pit. He can see his front of his car is punched in a little bit. We'll see if that affects him here.
Yeah, we'll see. We're going to come to the restart zone, and green flag's back out. Restart here for
another big jump for that leader down on the bottom, Kyle.
Yeah, it looks at the bottom lane is good on restarts here. You know, just get a big old jump. You know, but like I said, the same thing with Curtis Kelly. He got out of that big old lead, and now he's just kind of. I think it's kind of a little bit of a core. You know, coming into turn 3, Chris Bishop's gonna have a huge run. See with the 54 behind him. I can't tell who is in the 54, so I'm sorry, whoever you are in the 54. I can't tell who you're there. JJ Hill, sorry man. JJ Hill's just lurking there in third. But you know, another KBRN guy looking up good.
And Trevor Haley's made a lot of hayway on these tires already. I think he's going to be in the perfect spot if this goes green all the way.
Yeah, he made a lot of ground coming out of turn 4 on that restart, and you know he's ready to rock and roll. Look at the closing speed coming out of turn 2.
Yeah,
I mean,
what you hope for right there is to pick off 3 or 4 of them on the first lap. It's kind of like getting a couple of freebies there, and then you almost feel like you're just resetting up further than you were, and he can just really make the most of his tires here. As you can see, he's going to draft right up to these guys. Look to the outside of JJ Hill. He's going to be blocked in here. Is he going to stick it in the middle there? No.
Oh, he's looking. He's peeking, but Chris Bishop took the lead coming out of turn 4. I mean, he's kind of flying there. But top 3, you know, we got Chris Bishop, we got JJ Hill and Duncan Fall, but now Trevor Haley's kind of peeking in here. But the fan vote leader is the new leader in the Open.
Yeah, that's awesome to see. Yeah.
Chris Bishop, you know, we call him the fullback because he's just always there. I mean, he's always been a playoff contender. You know, he has a lot of bad luck, though, which is unfortunate for him. But he's a really good dude, man. He's up there, man. He's everybody's favorite driver, according to the fan vote, and he's leading this
Is his luck worse than yours, Spencer?
I don't know. Listen, I get pulled out of wins. He just gets wrecked on lap 1. So I'm much rather be lucky than good, as the saying goes.
Haley is really making hay on his tires here. He's looking to outside of JJ Hill for second, side drafting him there. He's going to clear off this corner, you can tell.
Yeah, so we got a little words. The fan vote in the top 3, and that's also top 2 in points. So top 2 in points that don't make it out of the All-Star Open, like just pushing out through, will get through the All-Star Open. So, but definitely Chris Bishop's kind of laying the wood here. As he come to 11 to go, but Trevor Haley is.
Here he comes, Jaden. Here he comes, Jaden.
He's going to the bottom. I don't know how much
push him
he's
down
gonna
there.
side draft him.
I would say you got to push him down there, Chris. Push him down there. Good on his quarter panel. Man, he's gonna let him go, but such a hard difference in those tires. But I mean, it might not even matter for the fan vote for Mr. Chris Bishop. He's kind of holding on there, man.
And that might be the last we see of Trevor Haley if there's not another yellow here, boys.
Yeah, he's gonna lay the wood to it, but Chris Bishop's not giving up though. He tried to take a peek on the inside lane, but it's got a little bit of an arrow wash, and now he's gonna drop like a rock.
Gabriel Dehari's already back up to P4.
Yeah,
I think he started like last. He's going for second now.
I'm about to say he's 3.
Second.
Yeah, but 3 wide. Coming out of turn 4.
Haley with the recovery here after 2 incidents involved here. His car still not done yet. He got some damage fixed, and he's going on the apron here under Dahari for P3. They're going to race side by side.
I mean, this is a dogfight for third. I mean, this is the transfer. You know, if I'm like Dusty Applin, I just want to just try to stay away from these guys because these guys are going at it. Slugfest, JJ Hill gets loose coming out of turn 2. I mean, this is a slugfest for P3.
I wonder how much Christopher Bishop's going to fall off. I don't know if there's much tire fall off, but he's only back to 5th. So if we can get in there to yellow, he's still in this.
Yeah, he'll be lurking, and you know, the top highest in points right now is Michael Newbrawl in 12th. So no matter what happens here, as long as nothing happens, Newbrawl will make the show just on points because he's top 2 in this Open. But Trevor Haley's kind of putting the whip to him now. I mean, he's looking though.
He is. It's gonna determine, or excuse me, it's gonna depend on, and it kind of already settled that battle for second there. You saw them side by side a minute ago. I was gonna say that if they continued that's just gonna let Trevor scoot on out of here, but they have settled that. Really surprised, impressed by Tristan at this recovery here. He may give Trevor a run here. It's gonna be really hard for him to break away in that draft. Tristan's not gonna let him do it.
Yeah, he's looking, but we're looking at little Mikey Newbrawl. He's kind of coming up through the field too. He was about like 12th or 13th on that last restart, but he's kind of made himself up to 11th. He's looking pretty sporty, but
yeah,
he's
involved in that incident with Tristan a minute ago. That's my team owner / boss there, so I'm pulling for him.
Yeah, but say be nice to the boss. Yeah, I'm about to say be nice to the boss. He might can you if you don't say something nice. But here comes Tristan Bailey, kind of reeling back Trevor Haley. I mean, it might get. Yeah, but I say he's got the run off of turn 2. It might get a little scrappy going into turn 3.
Yeah, this is setting up for a battle here.
Yeah, I mean, coming to 6 to go. Going to be coming to 5 at the line. This is going.
He's gonna arrow wash there. He's gonna get tight.
Yeah,
But
it's gonna get tight.
He did a good job of not having to crack out the throttle too much.
And we got one car up on the outside wall. Looks like the Hari maybe got a little piece of he's on the outside wall, but he's gonna come back down the racetrack. But we're gonna be just fighting hard for that podium position. You know, Tristan Bailey maybe get the run here.
I wonder if Tristan Bailey's gonna try this middle in 3 and 4. It really works coming off turn 4, the run that you get. So I wonder if he's gonna try it this time. If Trevor doesn't block.
Yeah, there he is. He's peeking.
Sure is. And I was going to ask you, Jaden, with this top 2 breakaway here, would you kind of sit tight for a minute if you're Tristan, or do you try to pounce right now?
I would go for it. I mean, it's a race win, and everyone wants to win, so I'd go for it. Honestly, I wouldn't sit back.
This is the good spot right here. Looks like the middle in 1 and 2 is kind of like where you really get the run. He's gonna peek on the inside, coming into turn 3. He's gonna be there. Nice little.
Haley, he tried to shut it off, but Tristan did not let that happen. But we'll see if he's gonna be able to get the left rear quarter there off of turn 4. It doesn't look like he will, but this is shaping up to be a battle here, and it's just gonna depend on if these top 2 can stay broken away from the rest of the pack like this. If they get to racing side by side, that could draw the rest of the guys right back up to them. But they may have it. Oh, look,
big wiggle coming out of turn
almost
2.
hit the wall there.
Yeah, big wiggle coming out of 35 Love's car, and he's just kind of losing all his ground now. Coming to 2 to go. I mean, you're just kind of hoping that the leader makes a mistake, and you're just going to have to get there.
Yeah, Tristan's going to arrow wash again there. Would love to see him wrap that line down there and try to get some clean air from the left side. But we'll see. We'll see what happens here. He's still got plenty of time. He can formulate another run in the draft here.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But right now, the cars that are locked in, it's going to be Haley, Trevor Haley, Tristan Bailey, Dusty Applin is the top 3, and the 2 highest in points is Austin Reedy and Curtis Kelly. But right now, we're just kind of seeing here coming out of turn 2. I mean, turn 3 and turn 4. I mean, just got to get a big run. Comes at a white flag.
Yeah, I think he's going to need a mistake out of Trevor Haley if he's going to have any shot at winning this race.
Yeah, I agree here, Jaden. You see Trevor's trying to break the draft on him. Tristan has so far not been able to get closer than about 2 car lengths here for about the last lap. He's going to go up to the top here, try to get a run off of 2. He will. Oh, he might have hit the wall there, but he kept some momentum here. Is he going to dive it, Kyle?
I'm about to say Trevor Haley made a little bit of a mistake coming out of turn 2, but here comes Tristan Bailey. My God, I can't talk. This is so exciting. I can't even talk, but coming out of turn 4 is going to do it again. Trevor Haley's going to win the Open.
Yeah, great race there. Good job from Trevor Haley, and awesome recovery there by Tristan Bailey. That's a great effort to get back to where he did there.
Yeah, you know, he had two incidents for Tristan Bailey, and he came back and gave him a run for his money. So big run out of him, and you know that was pretty fun, boys. I had a little bit of fun up here.
I had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, you kind of flew by.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So the top 3 that was locked in automatically is Trevor Haley, Tristan Bailey. There's 2 T's there, always screw me up, and then Dusty Applin, who was really aggressive on the start, and then the 2 point transfers would be Curtis. Oh my God, man, I can't talk, dude. I was having so much fun, man. I can't talk. Austin Reedy, Curtis Kelly on points. Those 2 highest in points that didn't make the top 3. And you know, and the fan vote winner, everybody's favorite, Chris Bishop, almost didn't even need the fan vote, but you know, the fullback. Always bringing it together, but you know, as we're gonna watch Trevor Haley burn it down. Yep, another fan vote. As we see Christopher Bishop as leading that, Trevor Haley winning the Open, Juergensmeyer and D'Elia 3 and 4, and that was a lot of fun, boys. I mean, I was kind of surprised with the run that Trevor Haley was putting on, and the recovery drive with Tristan Bailey.
Looks like it was a good call by him to come in and take those tires there. He was first car off of pit road, 4 fresh tires there. He started P9, drove up there and won the race.
Yeah, so we're going to go with the results here, and we got Trevor Haley winning the race, and then we got Tristan Bailey in 2nd, Dusty Applin 3rd, Craig Parks in 4th, Christopher Bishop and Austin Reedy in 5th and 6th. We're doing an MRMS lock-in for 5th and 6th. Michael Newbraw, Timothy Cook, Cody Kinsey, and Daniel Moore round out the top 10.
P11, J.J. Hill in the 54. Curtis Kelly after a real strong showing. P12, got caught up in a couple incidents there. Duncan Fall, Jaden's pick, comes home P13. Gabriel Dahari, newcomer, another strong show in there. P14 for him, got caught up in an incident there. Charlie Bauer, 15. That's our man in the booth here. Eric Stewart, my DVR teammate, 16th. Juan Escamilla, 17th. He had some damage early on, couldn't get that repaired. Jason Hastings, my other DBR teammate there, P18, and that guy P19. I didn't never see him one time on the track, but good P19 for him there, and everybody on back there. I don't know if we saw them either.
Yeah, I think there's just dudes, just not listening, man. These people don't listen. Freaking guys, man, I'm telling you what. But, Jaden Porter was just so fast that we just didn't see him on the racetrack.
That was too quick.
Yeah, he was too quick. But we're going to talk to the Open winner of the Open, Trevor Haley. This is the second time he did this, buddy. Trevor Haley, you got us in the booth. You got us?
Yeah, I got you, buddy.
This is the second time you've done this, going back-to-back in the Opens, man. It's got to feel good at least, not being a points-paying win, but, just a win at most in the 4-wide racing league. It's got to be something, right?
Yeah, it feels great, man. I hate that I have to race my way in, but to win again this year, like I did last year, was huge. I had a battle Tristan there at the end. Pretty good race.
Yeah, great race there, Trevor. So talk to me about the decision to come in and take 4 tires there on that last caution.
Well, I thought it was the right decision, but then I pitted and the top 8 stayed out. So then I was kind of second guessing myself there. But luckily, the top lane got checked up when it restarted. I was able to get to 4th or 5th right away. So,
you're coming into the Open, you're winning again, and now you're gonna go into the All-Star main. I mean, how do you feel about the All-Star main, man? You just won. How do you feel? How do you feel coming in, man? Do you think you got something for these guys?
Yeah, I feel pretty good. I'm pretty pumped. I was screaming when I crossed that line, but yeah, I think I have my work cut out for me. I think I got to start in the back because I won, but it should be fun. We'll see what happens.
That's awesome, man. You got anybody to thank? Anybody special out there you want to thank?
Yeah, thank my teammates, Nick and Juan, and my team owner, and CSX, my buddy Tyler for watching, all you guys in the booth, everybody that's at home watching the stream, and yeah.
That's awesome, man. We're happy for you, man. Can't wait to see you out there on track for the Open, for the main. Ready to rock and roll, buddy.
Awesome, thank you.
Trevor Haley, the winner of the All-Star Open for the second time in his career. I like the moxie on the kid. I think he's got something for these guys. Just a little extra time on the racetrack definitely comes in clutch. But coming up with the main qualifiers, now we're including Trevor Haley into the booth. Into the race. Like I said, we got our guys. Where it's us up in the booth. Now we got these guys qualify for the main. I think this main's got to be something, man. 100 laps. Just driving like it's gonna be great.
It's gonna be a crazy race. I think it's gonna be insane.
And we've always had good races here. We had an incident a year or two back here. We had 5 wide down the back stretch. We all somehow survived that. Jaden and I had a great battle. We did not survive that. Okay, my recollection is faulty. I just remember the picture. But yeah, Jaden and I had a great battle here in the spring, and we'll probably have another similar race like that. We always have good battles here, so
hope they don't take a bad push this time.
I know.
I took a bad push too. Don't worry.
I don't know if Golin's showing up or not, but yeah, might have been a number of the 99.
Yeah, the old Aaron's Dream Machine. But I had a lot of fun, man. These guys put on a show. I'm happy that Kenneth and all the guys let us up here, but. I think they're done sipping their mojitos, so we'll let the professionals probably take it here pretty soon. But, I mean, these guys, it's hard, dude. I'm telling you what, man. I'm always having fun up in the booth.
Yeah, newfound respect for the guys up in the booth. I don't know if they'll let us up here again. This might be our one and only shot here. So, glad we made the most of it, and I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to do this, so respect to Kenneth, Francisco, Keelan, and all of them.
Oh, this is like another Wednesday for them, but, we're just here trying to make it. But we're unfortunately gonna be kicked out of the booth here. So it was also a lot of fun. It's me. You got Lawson and Jade in the booth. I think Kenneth is banging on the door trying to let us in. We may have locked the door. We're not gonna talk about that. But we're gonna go to break. We're gonna let the professionals take care of this, and we're just gonna descend off. Hope you guys see the track, and I'll see y'all.
I guess we'll hand it back over to them. See you guys later.
See you.
24 will be available September 17th. Pre-order your copy today.
My name is Francisco Bacallao, driver of the number 30 Celsius Toyota. I have a lot of things to balance between work, being a student pilot, and of course, having iRacing to do on the side. How do I manage all that? Celsius.
Celsius is the key to getting these things done for me. Whether it's at work, at home, while I'm driving, whatever. Whichever flavor you want, whichever one appeals to you best, that's the one that gets it done.
So if you want a good option to drink, choose Celsius.
Hey Francisco, what's up? Yo, what's up, Kenneth? How's it going, man? How are you? Good, how you been? What you got in the bag, man?
I got a panini, I have a hoagie, I got it all through the Wallet Rewards app.
You can order it all through the app?
You can order it all through the app.
I can order it all through the app. The world is my oyster! By placing your order on the Wawa app, you can pick up at any time with ultimate satisfaction. Gotta have a Wawa.
That's my bonus for my quota. Boy, don't nobody. I just get a check in the jail with the set. All we do is rap. Ain't worried about next. I'm just making plays, Broadway in the flesh. On us. This right here in the corner.
In a return to a city that offers high rewards and punishing losses, usually a trip to the local Speedway brings the same intensity. But tonight, it's a different story. One all about the stars and all about the fun. Live from the virtual Las Vegas Motor Speedway, the KBueno Racing Network welcomes you to coverage of the third ever All-Star race for the 2025 Season 7 4Wide Racing TJ's Team Series. And welcome to the coverage on KBRN, where alongside Charlie Beyer and Keelan Belsha, I'm Kenneth Bueno. We are so happy to have you join us. We just got over 35 laps of grueling open racing, and a big thank you to Kyle Benson, Lawson Peel, and Jaden Porter for giving us the bit of the broadcast experience there on the racetrack as they covered the end of that open race. We had several drivers advance. Keelan Belsha, now we just got to run it for 100 laps for a chance at some pivotal bonus points to end up possibly in the playoffs or end up with a better boost come season's end tonight, and this race will be a ton of fun.
And Trevor Haley just won the Open, his second straight Open win to punch his ticket into tonight's All-Star race. Tristan Bailey, he went from spinning and backwards driver's side door into the turn 3 wall to finishing second. Dusty Applin, the rookie, got in there in third. We also had Curtis Kelly and Austin Reedy transferring on points, and our fan vote winner, Christopher Bishop, made it a complete sweep for Murray Reedy Motorsports as they got all their race cars in the race this evening. That's going to be fun for that team as they try to figure this one out. But this is a great racetrack, going to be looking for a lot of fun. And if the Open was anything that we're going to see in tonight's main event, I think we're in store for some great racing.
And Charlie, you were on the racetrack with a bunch of those guys. Unfortunately, your computer could not handle the end of that race. It crashed midway through. But what was the moment like for you behind the wheel, and how did you see everything go down on track, and what did you learn?
Well, I was having fun. I was chipping away, as I said to the drivers only broadcast crew. I really just wanted to do the best I can, save my tires, and try to be close to the spot. However, I was in the top 5, and unfortunately going into turn 1 on that restart, I got blue screened, which never happened to me before. So it's the second day in a row where I have not transferred to a main event. So I'm not beating the wash allegations, apparently. But that gives me a spot up here with you guys, my good friends, and back on the mic. So I'm looking forward to tonight. Got a bit of perspective on how the track is racing, and I'm ready to get going.
It'll be awesome, and it's glad to have Charlie in the booth after he's been on pit road for the last several weeks. Here's a look at the drivers that are already qualified into the All-Star main. The criteria includes race winners from the last season up until now. You also have pole winners and past champions of the series. So 21 drivers total are in it. 9 of them that advanced are rookie drivers. First time that they're in the All-Star race. So they will be having the yellow stripes in this All-Star format for the 100-lapper here from Las Vegas. We also just had those drivers that advanced through the open race. The winner, Trevor Haley, Tristan Bailey, who made a whale of a comeback drive, Dusty Applin, the rookie driver, and then those who advanced through points, Curtis Kelly, Austin Reedy, and Christopher Bishop, who ended up the top dog in the fan vote. So they are going to be qualified into this race. We are getting word that they will start at the back, so qualifying may not matter for a driver like Trevor Haley, who was on the top of the board, fastest time. But Keelan, he was so fast in that All-Star Open race. It was just shades of what we saw last season at the virtual North Wilkesboro Speedway, where it seemed like he had dominated the open race very differently. When he came to the main race, he ended up finishing inside the top 15 at the checkered flag, but maybe today could be a big difference for the Indiana native.
And we talked about it on the Drop of the Hammer pre-race show about how much bragging rights mean in this series, and about how these guys want an all-star win just as much as the next one. And it's not a completely pointless race, Kenneth. There's bonus points being given out to the top 10 tonight, so everybody's going to try to put themselves in the top 10 with a situation to add some bonus points to their total, avoid the penalty points that accumulate throughout the season, and make the most out of tonight's race. But Trevor Haley, he was really quick in the open. Every time he got shuffled to the back, he found a way to put himself up front. And, you know, he kind of beat our pre-race driver interview jinx that we have seemed to have on people this season. He went out with a pre-race interview, and then he went out and he won the thing. So he's got a lot of speed, and his qualifying lap here in the main session, it doesn't matter for anything, but if it did, he's first right now.
Well, what I think is going to be fun is that we're going to get to see Lawson, Kyle, and Jaden in their experience broadcasting the Open. Now they get to trade the headset for the steering wheels that they usually have in hand each and every week in this series. So we'll see what kind of intensity they can bring. Again, a part of those 21 drivers, many of them seasoned champions, many of them seasoned veterans, have been in this series for so long, so you can only imagine what they will bring into this race, specifically at Las Vegas, to which we had many guys at the front. Lawson, of course, took the checkered flag the last time we were here in our points-paying race, but we also had guys like Jaden Porter finish well. Curtis Kelly did really well for himself. Kyle Benson was pretty fast on the racetrack. Several different drivers that stood out in the serious race and may stand out here in the little bit of a fun race. A reminder as well that this race, and if you win the 100-lapper, you will get some bonus points to your season total tally. So apart from real life, where you get a grand cash prize at the end of it of $100, or rather $1 million, not $100 million, that's too much, but $1 million to the driver who wins the All-Star race. We don't have enough money to give out to the drivers to have it be that big of a grand prize, so what we will do is give the driver that wins the All-Star race a bit of a bonus in the points, so it will be an added incentive for those who are still yearning for a playoff spot if they do not already have one. Let's take a look trackside and give you your starting grid. A quick reminder that, again, those drivers that are starting at the rear of the field will be those open qualifiers. So as you see it, Trevor Haley, even though he has the fastest time on the racetrack in Q with a 30.120 for Dark Horse Motorsports, he'll be lining up the rear of this field. Mikey Neal will be on the outside. Solid and strong run at Kansas last week. Went sour in those final laps, but he'll look to avenge himself with a possible all-star win on the outside of the front row. Back in second row, you'll find Nicholas Bauman in the 14. Brandon Hawken makes his appearance in the All-Star race. Finished second fiddle last time we raced in an All-Star format at North Wilkesboro. The Canadian will look to get P1 this time around. Tristan Bailey, who again will start at the back, being an open qualifier. He made a whale of a comeback drive after crashing earlier on in the open race. Well, he will roll off from the back end of the field. Kyle Benson, who was just leading the broadcast team for the open coverage, he'll be inside of that row. Jaden Porter, also fellow broadcast member, will be there lined up with AJ Green alongside. And behind them, you've got Adam Alashire and Scott Healy. They'll round out at least the top 8 or so with those open qualifiers that are moving all the way to the back. Lawson Peel, who was part of the broadcast several moments ago, will be in his fellow row with Steven Maggio. So strong those two drivers have been throughout Season 7, and we'll see the rest of the order crawl down from your screen as we continue on. Again, those open qualifiers getting the end-of-line penalty, so Mikey Neal will have the field hoist the green flag as he leads them all the way down. Let's get a moment to talk with the driver who is usually in the broadcast booth but is on the racetrack this time around. We are joined by Mr. Francisco Bacallao. There's the Oreo Coke Toyota Camry. Francisco, how are you feeling now that you're taking the main on today?
Oh boy, I'm excited. I can't wait to have fun.
And you had a piece of the drivers' inputs when they were covering the open race, but for the first time, you get to be a part of this main race after grabbing the pole at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. How does that feel, and what are you going to try to learn over the course of this race?
I've never done a league race with this car at this racetrack, so there's a lot for me to learn as the race unfolds, as the night will approach us by the time the checkered flag waves. So I guess the main goal is going to be just keep the car clean, try to avoid getting into issues, and hopefully get a solid finish. I have no expectations in particular, so it's just about trying to have a good time.
Well, Francisco, we really hope that things go well on the racetrack, and I guess you're at the mercy of like how Charlie Byer was in the Open. If you mess up, we're going to let everybody know. We're going to let you know too. So we'll be cheering you on though as well. Best of luck in tonight's Open or race.
Thank you. Also, I'm pretty sure that Kyle Benson drank all of my Celsius that I left on that counter, so I'm pretty pissed at him about that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he left it empty there. I mean, Kyle was all jacked up during the Open, but Francisco would try to take us through the main race. We'll be tapping in with him throughout tonight's coverage over the 100 laps we will have here from the virtual Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We go 150 miles from Sin City, about 240 kilometers out in the Nevada desert. And like we said, second time we're here at this 1.5 miler, given the fact that we were here just several months ago for race number 4. All right, Charlie Keelan, opening thoughts before we get this green flag in the main.
It's going to be a hot and sorry, Keelan. It's going to be a hot and slick track for these guys, as pulled from information pulled from the Open event. You see track temperature is 92 degrees, so we're going to see a lot of sliding today, Keelan. I know I didn't give you enough time, but let's go racing.
I'm ready for it, and I'm interested to see if that sun does set by the end of this thing, that the track, it'll get faster as the race progresses, and that's going to be a thing to watch. The weather this evening, it looks about pretty close to dusk in sim time, so we may be looking at a sunset finish coming to the end of this thing. But I like this front row, Kenneth. I don't know about you. Nicholas Bauman, Mikey Neal, two young guys looking for their first win. What a statement it would be to come out here and run well in the All-Star race. I'm excited for everybody. This is a fun one. We talked to Lance Hill last week after the race, interviewed him, and he said if he can't win a championship, he wants an all-star race win because he knows how much those bragging rights mean, and that is an accolade that stays by your name forever in this league. An all-star race winner, it qualifies you for every other all-star race too, so you won't have to worry about all the drama of the Open like we just saw today. So I know everybody in this field is ready. It's going to be a great race. Las Vegas always puts on banger after banger, so I'm pretty pumped up.
And in this case, Nicholas Bauman and Mikey Neal haven't had the best 4 wide seasons, while Neal was nearly there in his breakout moment at Kansas last week, still without a checkered flag, and the same goes for Bauman, who's been a bit up and down throughout his rookie campaign. So both of these guys, with what is at stake, the bonus points that could get you a playoff spot, will mean the utmost for those drivers on the front row. But 100 laps separate everyone from that checkered flag and an all-star win in 2025. Let's get it going from Las Vegas. Mikey Neal, Nicholas Bauman to the green flag. And already some contact for the heat lead, or the main race lead, as Brandon Hawkins sends it to the outside, 3 wide at the stripe to complete lap 1.
Absolutely zero patience out of that 98 car, Kenneth. He's been the fastest man in town this season for a reason, because he gets out front and gets out front early. He made a move to the outside right there. Couldn't quite make it stick in 1-2 as Nicholas Bauman's going to clear for the race lead. They'll remain side by side for that second position as they start to sort themselves out and figure out where everybody's running. Jaden Porter sits back there in fourth as they battle for fifth. Neal slides up the racetrack. Hawkins going to get clear of him for second, and now he's making a move for the race lead.
He peeks underneath, heading to turn one, and as Mikey Neal got physical with Bauman in that opening lap, it allowed Hawkins to make way on the outside lane and push forward to the lead. He'll stay even with Bauman at the exit of turn two, but this is typical of a Brandon Hawkins performance, Charlie Byer. We know just how well he did last time we went All-Star Racing at North Wilkesboro, but could not get around Luke Canup, who dominated to the checkered flag. This time, it only takes 3 laps for the Canadian to take the top spot. And a crash already behind. Adam Alashire going sideways as the field tries to scurry around. Lawson Peel, AJ Green, and it's a big one down the Trioval, an absolute parking lot.
That is a lot of contenders right there. Francisco Bacayao, Lawson Peel's car is destroyed. Very early incident here in this All-Star race.
And that is unbelievable. Lawson Peel torn up, and several other guys just getting the brunt of the impact. And what we saw as soon as Adam Alashire got sideways off of turn 4, Charlie, it just appeared like there will be trouble. But for Alashire, we didn't know how bad it would get and how much of the field he would take with him off of turn 4. We'll get a better look at it.
I mean, you can see it coming off of turn 4. That was a wreck that was going to happen either way. I think really the defining moment is that 91 coming across the track and hooking cars and creating that parking lot, as you said. So I'm looking at the cars on pit road right now, and that's a lot of big names collected in this crash.
We'll see if we can get a look from Lawson Peel in his number 12 Chevrolet. All the way at the back of this, Steven Maggio in front. And it just where it began with Mikey Neal getting loose at the inside of the racetrack. Boy, that's a whale of a lick to the outside wall, Keelan, but it just ricocheted up the racetrack when Mikey Neal he got out of shape, an ill-handling race car by the time that he opened the first few laps and fell out of the top spot. And Neal pretty much the catalyst of that incident. And without a fast repair for all of these guys, it may be race over, only 5% of the way through.
Yeah, Steven Maggio may have got a piece of that too. So if he's in there, just imagine how many race wins just got involved in the crash in the first 5 laps of the All-Star race. AJ Green, Lawson Peel, they probably got the worst of it. Francisco Bacayao, not the way he wanted this race to go. He was so excited talking about getting out there and running this race, already in trouble. There goes Maggio on pit road getting some repairs. The Hardy's machine of Adam Alashire was really the first to go awry, with tagged AJ Green, who's put up the racetrack. Tristan Bailey, who transferred in from the Open, got a piece of it. I believe Peel may be terminally injured as far as this race goes. And from the booth down to the racetrack for a few minutes at least, he got a little bit of a fix in, but not the way he wanted this race to go. But we haven't seen Peel get in many early race crashes this season. He's been able to manage it, so at least if you get one out of the way, you get it out of the way in a race that matters the least on the schedule.
Yeah, it definitely means so. I mean, Lawson, with all of the wins that he has already this season with 3, there's no doubt that he's going to make the playoffs with a pretty good buffer to everyone else. So even if some driver gets a bonus point or so with winning this All-Star race, won't be the end of the world, but still, plenty of heavy hitters already taken out. Lots of them with toe link damage and suspension damage, where it kind of got Juan Escamilla right in the Open earlier on tonight, where he got a hard hit to the outside wall. That right front toe link was destroyed. We didn't see Escamilla for the rest of that Open just because of all that damage. And while you have a 100-lap race, it's definitely much longer than the dash of an Open we had earlier tonight. It still is a relatively shorter race, so you are going to spend a lot of time repairing that race car, and chances are by the time you get back out on track, you're going to be to the tune of about 2 or more laps down. We know that Mikey Neal, who started on the front row for this main race, is already out. It appears he pulled his Chevrolet to the garage, so Mikey Neal, an early exit for this All-Star main, and very sad to see compared to what he had to deal with last week at Kansas, where it seemed like he was so close to the victory, Charlie, and it just got ripped away from him after getting loose out of turn 4. But now we've got Brandon Hawkins, probably the most intimidating driver at the front of this field, looking to lead us back under green.
Yeah, and I think Brandon jumping to the lead is not only a statement to his raw speed as a driver, but also how important clean air is at a track like this, and with a car like this. You want to get out as soon as possible, because we saw even coming out of turn 4, the lap before the crash, the number 88 washed up all the way, because even just sitting behind a car will lose a lot of traction. So it's going to be important and really a defining part of these green flag runs.
Brandon Hawken will lead the field back to the green flag, our first proper restart. At lap number 8, Nicholas Baumann, who started on the front row at the beginning of this one, will stay on the outside of that perspective row. Brandon Hawken takes the field through the Geico restart zone back to the green flag in this all-star main from Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and it's a beautiful jump by those at the very inside. Jaden Porter, who was just in the broadcast booth, is taking his talents to the bottom of Nicholas Baumann, and so is Kyle Benson. 1, 2, 3. Hawken, Porter, Benson out of turn 2.
It was a really good jump for Brandon Hawken on that restart, and Baumann did not time it very well, and that allowed Porter to get him clear, and that's going to drop him from 2nd down to 4th by the time they come off of turn 4 here. Scott Healy, last week's winner at Kansas, maybe taking a look under Nicholas Baumann there if he gets the opportunity. That wouldn't put him in. And how about Trevor Haley, our first open qualifier to try to make a case for the top 5? He sits 6th, and one thing that has been a storyline of his season and his teammates' season on these mile-and-a-half tracks is that early speed they have on these short runs. They have a lot of speed right out of the gates, and sometimes it comes back to bite them at the end of these things. But Trevor Haley, he has seemed to figure Las Vegas out to this point. He's now making a move on his teammate for the 4th position, 3 wide for that spot.
Trevor Haley only has 3 top 10s in this Season 7 campaign. One of them came here at Las Vegas, finished 9th in that 4th race of the season, and Baumann is going through the ringer. Dusty Applin and Scott Healy looking on both ends of the speedway. Baumann is still middle 3 wide. How about nearly 4 wide? Craig Lounslugger peeking through the back, but not worthy of a move to make at this juncture of the race. Applin getting down into Baumann, still making contact, and Charlie Byer, we are still 3 abreast off turn 4.
Yeah, 3 wide's a tough spot to be in, especially on corner exit. You see these guys are banging doors out of the corner and into the next. You see how easy it is for these guys to wash up, just like this 14 here, almost into the 16. So you have to manage your throttle and your tires, because these cars start to drive like a boat on the long run.
You got to be really careful, though. If you're Nicholas Baumann, you're in the middle of potentially a seesaw opportunity to bounce off both cars, and he already picked up some right front damage by making that side-by-side contact with the high car, Dusty Applin, that Can-Am black, yellow, and white Chevrolet that just moves on by for position number 6. Meanwhile, at the front, Jaden Porter's taking a strike at the race leader, and Jaden Porter takes the lead in the All-Star race.
But Hawkins, he's not going to let him go too easily. To the inside he goes, going to cross him over a little bit. Shades of Darlington a couple weeks back, Kenneth, when Jaden Porter got his first win in a whole season, knocking off Brandon Hawken. And here comes Trevor Haley, the guy who made it in and dominated the Open, maybe making a move for the 2nd position. That CSX car is on rails.
Yeah, Trevor Haley led a majority of that Open race, the onboard look with the Indiana native and his Dark Horse Ford Mustang. And for Trevor, had to start all the way at the back. He led the field in qualifying for this main race, and because of the rule where he came in and had to race his way from the Open, he had to start all the way at the back. They gave him an end-of-line penalty, but look at the progress already from all the way at the rear to 3rd place. That is a far cry from where he began at 16th. So Trevor Haley doing all that he could to move up through the field, and it's starting to pay off dearly. Haley, at this point, could not do what he's doing right now in last season's All-Star race at North Wilkesboro. Of course, a very different racetrack and a very different situation with the competition, but impressive to see Haley make this work, move on, and get his way to the top 3 early in this race as he peeks underneath Jaden Porter. How about the wiggle from the rookie Dusty Applin? Leaves Kyle Benson to move on the inside. It's a pretty good start right here, Charlie, for Kyle Benson, taking the lead in the broadcast. Did a pretty good job of it. Now doing a pretty solid job of stepping into the top 5 here.
Doing good on both ends from the mic to the racetrack. But as you mentioned, yeah, there's no rolling stock hooked onto the back of that number 4 engine. He is on rails and looking for a top spot here. Getting pretty close between Kyle Benson and that number 16 car. I'd say that you really are not aiming for to be on the inside of someone. I'd say, drawing context clues from what I'm seeing right now and from the open race, the outside is the place to be, because when you're on the inside, you're sawing at that wheel, trying to stay off of the car, even more so than you would be on the outside lane. So I think it'd be a good decision for the 16 to let him go here.
Here's the onboard look from last week's winner at Kansas, Scott Healy, who saw several cars. Oh, there's a car on the outside. Oh, and it's Dusty Applin. He goes head on into the outside barrier and potentially catches some more cars with him. Dusty Applin torn up at the inside of turn 4.
Kyle Benson, the man who called him home in the open, was right there. We got the perfect view of it from Scott Healy's onboard camera live right there. And he's going to shoot it into turn 3 here, Kenneth. Right there, just dives it in on Benson right there. I don't know if Benson was not happy or what, but that spins Applin out. Eric Schaefer nearly gets involved. Everybody does a great job of avoiding him to not make that happen, but this all kind of starts going into turn number 3. Applin sends it in on Benson. Get a look from the Charlie Bayer photography onboard camera. Ooh, that's a tough move to make, and Benson just barely catches the corner of him, and it's hard to tell frustration from just a pure accident, but that was close to incidents right there. Takes Applin out of the race after qualifying in from the open as drivers start to hit pit road for the first time.
Yeah, he was one of those guys who took a route through those 35 laps and had to work pretty hard to get into that transfer spot, finished 3rd at the end of that, but Brandon Hawken will take the field down pit road for the first time, and we didn't see that as much throughout the All-Star Open, only 35 laps, so not that much in terms of strategy here, Charlie, but definitely at a longer race, you are going to need some tires along the way. So Brandon Hawken is taking the field through, and Jaden Porter will try and follow suit and beat him off of pit road, but it will not be enough. The Canadian pops out, takes the lead off pit road. This time, Porter 2nd, Trevor Haley 3rd.
Well, when you look at 100 laps and almost just under 50 laps run on one tank, you kind of question how many pit stops we're actually going to have. If people just saved a little bit, they'll be able to stretch 1, but at a minimum, you would need 2. So this caution and pit stop on lap number 18 is going to ensure at least 1 more pit stop, and a guy who has probably taken tires long ago, but the crew is hard at work on that car. That's Francisco Bacalhau still sitting there.
Hopefully we can get a word with Francisco. We'll bring him in. Francisco, you got a copy with us?
Gotcha.
Yeah, well, it definitely was a disappointing start to the race. There was an absolutely monumental crash off turn 4. Just tell us what you saw there.
I saw the initial spin, which got them all sideways, and I checked up for it, and I thought, okay, I'm going to get by this, no problem. But I think Alishire got hooked and spun down into green, who spun up into Peel, and it just was pronounced right on my lap, so I couldn't really do anything in time to avoid all that.
And I think we were all sat here in the booth because we were just seeing you get started, the field get started, and then as you were working through the field, that huge crash comes out and takes out a bunch of drivers. So you are a team owner, though, for KBueno Racing. So what are you going to try to do to motivate the teammates here as they try to go for the All-Star win?
Unfortunately, I'm paying out of pocket for this one, so that means that my drivers don't get paid for this. So, yeah, it's actually not, they're looking too great for me.
See, the problem is, I also looked down at my wallet while you were saying that, and I saw literally nothing. So I think
it was crickets, right?
I think we may have to close shop. I don't know what's going on. We need a Jaden Porter win, possibly, if
yes,
something's gonna happen.
Did you get the lucky dog there, Francisco?
I did, and I have to keep taking damage repair. I had 8 minutes.
All right, well, Francisco, hopefully you can get the car repaired and be back out there. Best of luck for the rest of tonight.
Appreciate you.
So Francisco Bacalhau will join the rest of the KBueno Racing drivers with Steven Maggio and Jaden Porter, who are still intact and in this race. Porter on the outside of the front row. Brandon Hawken will lead us back to the green flag. He's led a majority of this All-Star race. Very much different from what it was last season when Luke Knupp led all 150. And while Brandon Hawken got real close, it was no cigar to get the checkered flag. This time he's got the point off of turn 4. Pace car down, restart, lap 20 in the All-Star main.
Porter stuck with him a lot better on that restart than Bauman did the last time around, and he's going to have a shot going into 1 and 2 here to see who gets the momentum off of 2. If Porter can stick with him there, might be able to get a good run going down the backstretch, kind of pinch Hawken down. That's what he does, and that will give the lead to Jaden Porter going into turn number 3. He's going to cut him off, Now it's going to be Haley and Hawkin battling for that second spot.
And Keelan, you alluded to it, how, contact there off turn 4. Brandon Hawkin is sideways, skipping through the grass as he banged off of Trevor Haley's Dark Horse Ford Mustang. And Hawkin is somehow going to save the Chevrolet without any damage. Only problem is, killed track position. Jaden Porter, Charlie Byer, up in front by several car lengths.
And that's probably the biggest gap for the lead we've seen so far. We're going to see if we can get a replay of Brandon Hawkin, but it looked like a factor of just washing up the track on this car on these tires. So we're going to see in turn number 3. I mentioned earlier how important it is to try to stay off of that bottom, especially when you're under someone, because if you go up, you have no choice but to door him or back out.
And right there just goes for the slide. Thankfully, he goes through the grass, so it's not really a danger zone. It's harder for him to merge back up into traffic and cause something dire, but the dire situation for the Canadian is that he needs a yellow flag in order to get back into this thing. It's Porter, Benson, Trevor Haley looking for second, and Curtis Kelly back in fourth. We had a question earlier on asking why Curtis Kelly was able to get in through the All-Star Open, even though he wasn't in the transfer spot, and he did not win the fan vote. He was one of the highest drivers in the point standing. So as we got the top 3 that crossed the checkered flag, first, second, and third, we also had the 2 drivers that were next up highest in points. So that's why Curtis Kelly was able to get in, because he's been on the podium in points for so many weeks on end in this 4-wide season. And then alongside the fan vote winner, Christopher Bishop, who at the moment, since all the way back, in position 13. So Curtis Kelly, Keelan Belsha, who was very strong when we were here for Rio at Las Vegas several weeks ago, where he's already inside the top 5 as he watches Jaden Porter try to fight off a feisty Trevor Haley in the battle for the race lead.
You guys coming out of the Open, just not being scared of any of these main eventers. Trevor Haley, a quarter of the way home, is now our race leader after dominating the Open, has put himself in the race lead, and we have yet to have a winner in a 4-wide All-Star race out of an open format. Trevor Haley looks to be the first as he gaps Jaden Porter a little bit. My only concern is if he's saving his stuff for the long run here, because we have seen his speed very early here in his first 25 laps, and now he kind of has an edge on everybody else. But if we get some long green flag racing, it's going to make it more difficult to fend off everybody else if these guys behind him are saving their stuff. But as it stands right now, that CSX car for Haley is flying.
Well, I think we talked about that ad nauseum for many of these intermediate racetracks, Charlie, in the broadcast booth, about how Dark Horse Motorsports had spent a lot of their time working through the field, then leading the race, but then as we step into a long green flag run, they start to fall off, whether it be they kill the right front tire or the right rear, and they start stepping out sideways and getting loose. So it's merely a matter of discipline, and while Trevor Haley had to absolutely carve and dive through the field to end up where he is in the top 3 before the first yellow flag came out, he's never had to deal with clean air until this very moment. So as he's ahead by at least 0.2 of a second, while Porter and Benson battle for the P2 spot and the battle for 4th continues on behind them, I mean, it may be a trivial test for Trevor Haley to see what he can do as the long run kicks in and whether he can stop all of the offense behind him.
And based on how these guys are racing right now, it seems that everybody wants to settle into a long green flag run, which could really be a defining factor in this Ford's race and for the other Drinking Bros racing cars. So they might be up here for now, but as this long run goes on, we're going to have about 40 or so laps left on this tank of fuel. As we look 3 wide, I guess these guys aren't done racing yet to settle in, but we're going to see how this plays out.
And there's another Dark Horse Ford Mustang, and Nicholas Bauman getting the left side tires on the apron, wiggles the car, but gets back underway. He'll fall back to 5th place, and Craig Lautenslager may pick up the pieces at the other end of this back straightaway. Benson and Kelly in this fight for 3rd place. The 5-hour energy machine looks up forward, got a lot of energy like he just drank a can of Dr. Pepper. He looks for second here to the inside, potentially on Porter, and all 3 cars nose to tail in turn 1.
Jaden Porter going to try to fight, maybe work for a crossover here off of 2. It's kind of a textbook move right there through the center of the corner. Looks like he may have stalled out right as he was getting to the exit, though, and now he's going to be ripping the middle right on top of that seam right there to try to get the exit and contend. But here comes Curtis Kelly in the 71. He gets sideways, bobbles under Jaden Porter. They're going to keep it straight, no yellow, as he's going to slip back and lose the spot to Kyle Benson. The race leaders close in on Adam Alshire, the lap car.
And mind you, all of the drivers in the top 5, apart from Jaden Porter, have won a series race this season. Kyle Benson is yet to reach a checkered flag. Neither has Trevor Haley, neither has Curtis Kelly, and neither has the rookie Nicholas Baumann. So we talk about how momentum can be swung in a matter of moments in the positive direction or negative direction. I mean, the All-Star race isn't necessarily a winning race that'll get you locked into the 4-wide playoffs this season. But Charlie, you can make a distinct argument that the All-Star race can still serve as a positive boost in momentum. So if you're a guy like Trevor Haley, you're leading a bunch of laps, you won the All-Star Open, you're in this main race taking control, it could give you a positive boost for the moment, and you could find yourself for the rest of the regular season pushing hard and improving week after week.
Yeah, I think you want to do good in every race, and it feels good when you win a race like this, and especially because it's in the same series, and then you're against the same drivers that you've been racing against all season. So I think you can really define yourself in an all-star race still if you beat the same guys that you race every week and get yourself in a good spot momentum-wise. And
looks like some problems there with Charlie Byer, but Keelan, you have a good point on this as well.
Yeah, as he was saying, that momentum is such a huge aspect of this iRacing sport that we run in. You saw it in Talladega. Lance Hill, he found a way to win at Talladega. He came back the very next week and had a second-place run at Kansas. So momentum really means everything. We saw it last season with in the real NASCAR world, how RCR, they turned their season around after a 2-week Olympic break. So a break, a good run in an all-star race that some people would say don't matter, it can completely turn our season around. And after this, we kind of have that last push to the playoffs. So it's really going to mean everything to have a shot to go for the playoffs, get a good finish here, and you're on a good track.
We've got many tracks that could give the opportunity to those drivers, right? I mean, Iowa, as disciplined of a track, disciplined of a driver, you need to be rather to take control there. Brandon Hawken dominated the last time we visited the Speedway in Newton, Iowa. We go also to Nashville Super Speedway. We also go to Pocono, Coda, Dover, several tracks where different disciplines are at display. Watch this, splitting 3 wide through the middle. Curtis Kelly and Kyle Benson taking no prisoners in the journey back to turn 1, and Benson giving the shunt to Trevor Haley back to the corner.
They're battling hard here. All 4 cars under a blanket right here for this race lead. Everybody all over each other. On board with Kyle Benson with the Charlie Byer photography onboard camera. They go around the lap car of Francisco Bacayao, and now Curtis Kelly challenging Benson again on the inside of the racetrack. The 71, it's got some speed in it. If he could get around these guys, maybe make a push for the race lead. But last time he got in this position, got a little snappy on the bottom side of the racetrack. This time, though, looks like he's going to take second without a problem.
Just appears that Trevor Haley was about to get hunted down by Jaden Porter and the rest of this traffic behind, but as soon as they started battling on the racetrack, it just gave Trevor Haley the amplitude to move away and start making waves of his own at the front. But he's got Curtis Kelly in hot pursuit at the exit of turn 4. Kyle Benson nearly flirting with the outside wall off the final corner. And so across the line for lap 37 of 100 with Trevor Haley still commanding the point. Curtis Kelly, Kyle Benson, Jaden Porter, and Tyler Murray. Your top 5. Kyle Benson is all out of whack in turns 1 and 2.
Got really sideways right there. Good thing he kept it under him. As we see Kelly make that move on Trevor Haley to the bottom side of the racetrack. 2 guys who had to make their way in from the open earlier tonight are racing for the race lead in the main right here. There goes Curtis Kelly taking the race lead over. Back behind him, you see Jaden Porter, and how about league owner Tyler Murray, who has put himself up in the 4th position. Good run for that 36 car.
Running tonight in a Dale Earnhardt Sr. throwback, back when he used to drive the number 2. And I asked him earlier on tonight whether it was that inspiration for when Jimmy Johnson ran that throwback scheme back in around 2016. And he said, yeah, Jimmy's a fake. I'm going to run with the Dale Sr. colors tonight, with the number 2, the Wrangler colors that he used to have back then. So really cool stuff there for Tyler Murray. We had a spinning car to the inside, and there's a yellow flag. It's Kyle Benson.
Like everybody's going to avoid him and keep their car clean. Kyle Benson goes for a spin on the front straightaway. See if we can get a look at what happened there to bring out this yellow flag. As he was running right up there in the top 5. He got really loose a second ago, but kept the car under him. You look from that Dude Wipes car, see what happened. He was running back there side by side with his teammate Austin Reedy, who transferred in from the main. Outside of him was Nicholas Bauman. Ooh, he got hit by Bauman right there. Bauman went for a spin as well. Might have got into the outside wall himself as Edson bounces through the infield grass. Looks like some trouble with Nicholas Bauman, though, the rookie who was been put together a top 5 run to this point. Giving another angle of what happened to him. Maybe him and Reedy made some contacts here.
It looked like there was another incident up in front. Trevor Haley got loose off turn 4, but that's sort of independent from what happens here. It just looked like Bauman traveled up the racetrack, and as he's trying to save the car, he just bounces into Benson, who goes for a wild ride down the trial front straightaway, and he catches him air. Thankfully, no one else is getting into him by the time he merges back on the speedway. There's not as many cars at the back there that could get into that Dude Wipes Ford Mustang. So as Benson recovers from the incident, we've got cars on pit road. Curtis Kelly will take the field down in from lap number 40. And it might be a pivotal pit stop here, Keelan, because we are just shy of halfway. We know for sure that drivers cannot make it all the way to the end on this tank of gas that they are taking right now. So they may add on an extra pit stop, but we'll see who takes the lead off pit road.
If anybody takes a 2-tire stop, looking like Kelly is good right now. And racing off of pit road, Curtis Kelly will remain in the race lead. And don't look now, but now with this field reset, that 98 of Brandon Hawkin, who had a lot of speed earlier, he's going to be trying to climb his way through the field.
So Curtis Kelly, the main race leader. Jaden Porter, Tyler Murray, Trevor Haley, and Scott Healy take over the top 5. And you're right, Brandon Hawkin, who finally gets his saving grace, is back in this thing. And after pitting for some 4 fresh Goodyear Eagles, he's back in it from 7th place. Remember, he had to trot through the field quite a bit at the beginning of this one after starting in 4th, and then moving his way up through the top 3, and then punching his way into the race lead approximately several laps later. Hawkin has been a threat, but after that little mistake off turn 4, he's going to have to rebound and get back into it. To which Hawkin most likely will be out in South Florida at Homestead at Miami Speedway in about a week or so time on February 4th through 5th. He'll be racing with Racing Prodigy in real life, and several other big-time sim racers will be there as well, including eNASCAR Coca-Cola iRacing Series driver Garrett Lowe. So they'll be over here where I'm at in South Florida in just a couple of weeks, but we'll get ready to get this one started once again at lap 43. I'd say we've seen a lot of chaotic racing, Keelan, but plenty of these stars at the front have gotten used to this type of race, but the mistakes and the bad luck are hitting them. Remember, Lawson Peel, Steven Maggio, and many others got taken out in that huge parking lot crash to begin the race, and now Kyle Benson all of a sudden gets into trouble, and you've got Trevor Haley, who led this one, getting loose. Now he's back to 4th. So who can survive after all these mistakes and all this bad luck now?
Well, the good news for Benson is he stayed on all 4 wheels when he was down there jumping up and down in the grass. If he flipped over, it would have been a lot worse, and I don't think Bauman got into the fence or had anybody hit him. So just a couple spins for those guys. They should be all right, but we have about 16 cars still on the lead lap, but it's going to be about limiting those mistakes, and I think we've seen a handful of them out of everybody who's up here in the top 5 right now. So it's all going to be about limiting them, and whoever limits them the most will probably be the one that escapes in victory lane. But it is going to be Curtis Kelly and Jaden Porter leading us to the green flag here. Tyler Murray, Trevor Haley, Scott Healy, and Tristan Bailey back to row 3.
8 laps from halfway. Will be 7 when we cross the start-finish line. Curtis Kelly, who was the aggressor over the last several laps before the yellow, will have the discretion on this restart, and he gets away in a good way, off by at least 3 car lengths in the entry to turn 1. Jaden Porter blocks the middle end of the speedway to get away from Trevor Haley into the corner. Tyler Murray and Tristan Bailey, the 2 Murray Reedy Motorsports Ford Mustangs, going at it for 4th place off turn 2.
On the back stretch, car on the fence back there with Craig Lout and Flogger. They all keep it together for the most part. Jaden Porter still sitting back there in the 2nd position. But here you see Tyler Murray in that 36, the guy who has put some speed together up on the top side of the racetrack as Trevor Haley tries to take a swipe for the 2nd position. He has shown us that short run speed early. Here he goes making a move as we get a look at that nice looking Speedco 36.
And he's making it look good in the top 5 right now. He told us earlier on tonight before we went live that he got a good feel for this Las Vegas Motor Speedway and wasn't necessarily doubting his skills and how he felt about how this race car was maneuvering around this 1.5 miler. And he's interesting arc that he's putting into the racetrack in 3 and 4, looking to get to the inside of the fellow Ford Mustang of Trevor Haley. But things calm down at the front. First, second, third, and fourth, all covered by at least 0.3 of a second. Then behind them is the fight for 5th place. Brandon Hawken trying to get around Scott Healy, and it's a mess of race cars behind them. Several machines, including Murray Reedy Motorsports' Tristan Bailey and Austin Reedy, trying to get away from a mess of race cars that are developing in this fight.
See Brandon Hawken take that position away as they get a little more jumbled up further back there. You see Steven Maggio, who got in the incident on the opening laps of the race, might have got some damage that has really hindered that race car, but the more that he gets repaired with these yellows and trips down pit road, the better of an opportunity he's going to have. He's fighting Austin Reedy, who transferred in from the Open. Along with him is Tristan Bailey, another guy who transferred in, but it is a mess of MRMS cars right here. Craig Lautenschlager leading the pack right there. You see Brandon Banks in the 5 car, who had a good run at Talladega, keeping his car up here. Along with Nicholas Bauman in the 14, who spun out earlier, trying to get the momentum back together.
And Murray Reedy Motorsports rolling deep here because you look at that Loves Ford of Tristan Bailey, that Flow Racing 34 of Austin Reedy, then the Dude Wipes car of Kyle Benson, then the 42 of Christopher Bishop, and like you mentioned, Lautenschlager has moved his way up to 7th in that fight against the 3-time winner this season, Steven Maggio. So they are all clustered in this area around the back end of the top 10 and the most of the top 15 as we approach halfway in this 100-lapper from Las Vegas. It's pretty interesting how they're all sorting themselves through, but Kyle Benson probably with a fire in his belly now that he's looking to catch back up to the competition that have been controlling this race since the restart. It's Curtis Kelly still up ahead by 0.2 of a second. Jaden Porter back in second, just chilling where he's at. Trevor Haley hasn't made any aggressive moves quite yet. He's still in 3rd place. And then 4th and 5th, Tyler Murray and Brandon Hawken, who is slowly approaching to the traffic. But what a run here by Curtis Kelly, doing a phenomenal job. Struggled a bit in that open race earlier on tonight. Thankfully got in via points. And the Canadian, who's finished in P7 in our last All-Star race at North Wilkesboro, now in the race lead.
That 5 Energy car up front and looking good. And we mentioned him nearly every week. He is consistent. He's keeping that car up front for the most part and getting good results for it. And that has got him top 5 in points right now. Still looking for that points-paying win to lock himself into the playoffs, because you never know what can happen after this week when we have that push to the playoffs. There's going to be a lot of time for mistakes, and he's going to be trying to limit them to the most part. He has done a good job of limiting them so far. A lot of good finishes, a lot of good runs, and a really consistent season. Just hasn't quite been able to break through for that win, but we did see probably his best chance was here at Las Vegas earlier in the season. Led about the opening, almost the entire opening run of that race before Lawson Field took over en route to his first victory of the season. We've seen a lot of speed out of this 71 here on these intermediates.
Yeah, I was about to bring up that Las Vegas race because to this day, that's his best finish of the season. 3rd on the podium. He's gotten plenty of top 10s since. His last top 10 of the series was at Talladega in early January of this year. But apart from that, not being able to best 3rd that it was here at this 1.5 miler in Las Vegas, and he is only pulling away. He's about a 10th or so faster from Jaden Porter and Trevor Haley. But this is something that we saw Porter do at Darlington earlier this season, right? Where he got his first win, he backed off in the opening portion of the run on the fresh tires. He let the field get around him, but then just started snooping his way back through the field. And it only took about 20 or so laps for Porter to start making inroads once again, and basically just gained everything that he lost, plus 10. So Jaden Porter at this point still miring back in that 2nd spot, but still plenty of opportunities to get back into this thing as it steps into the long run. And I feel we may end up keeling in the longest green flag run of the race because the field has thinned out considerably as we watch the battle for 8th place.
Yeah, we only started with a 23-car field, and then we saw a bunch of them get taken out and get damaged early. There are, I believe, 16 cars remaining on the lead lap, and 2 of them spun out earlier. And that Maggio car may still have a little bit of damage on it. I'm not sure if there's a bunch of cars back here with some scrapes still. We have 15 guys on the lead lap. There's probably some scrapes and bruises on a lot of race cars back here, but the field thinning out is definitely playing to the tune of some long green flag runs as they start to single file out and race each other pretty easy for the most part. DiMaggio trying to make quick work of Scott Healy in front of the net for the 6th position as they look back to Brandon Hawken, who sits in 5th. A lot of the guys who you expect to run up front have found a way to run up front in today's All-Star race. They've been keeping their nose clean for the most part, especially Scott Healy. He's too quiet, Kenneth, that Scott Healy guy, because he'll barely make his presence felt during the race, and then we come down to some overtime restarts at the end of the thing, and he's winning. So I don't know. He's too quiet for me. I don't know about you.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like Lost in Peel, right? Where the Jaws music starts kicking in and you start thinking, oh boy, there's a threat coming. I mean, Scott Healy is sort of that, like, quiet. He's kind of like one of those sea monsters that has the little light and you can't really see them until you get up right to their mouth, and they have the big sharp teeth and they just eat you up in the bottom end of the seafloor. That's kind of what Scott Healy is as a driver, metaphorically, on the racetrack. He just hangs out where he's at, but he's always in the running. And then, like we saw last week at Kansas, all you really need is to be in the right place at the right time sometimes. Oh! Steven Maggio and Eric Schaefer bouncing off each other down the back straightaway. What happened there?
There may have been some intent behind that, Kenneth. I don't know. Schaefer just kind of doored him down the backstretch. I saw Schaefer, he was kind of slipping back earlier, like he wasn't really having a speed. And this may be something that happened earlier in the race, because Schaefer was He lost a lot of pace. He was running fine just outside the top 10 before he lost 2 laps. Here comes Maggio just passing him. Oh, that may be a little bit of anger right there. I don't know, Kenneth, what you think?
Yeah, it looks like displeasure there from Schaefer, who's had his fair share of battles this season. A look on board with Schaefer, who let the entire field by, and there was some suspension damage, no doubt, but he was holding his line up until Maggio creeped up to the right side. Yeah, that appears like he just got into Maggio, sending a message there to the Yaris Toyota Camry. And very dangerous that move was in the middle of that group. Can't be doing that when you're 2 laps down, but Schaefer is still putting around on the racetrack, trying to help a possible cause for a lucky dog if a yellow comes out, even though he won't be getting the lucky dog as of the moment, because he will just get 1 lap back, and he will not be on the lead group like everybody else. So we'll keep an eye on that, but Maggio getting the shunt from the Hampton, Virginia native of Eric Schaefer, but we continue green, coming to 40 laps to go. And watch how the top 3 have thinned out. Trevor Haley is sort of falling back to the clutches of Brandon Hawken, who beat Scott Healy for P5 and now steps into 4th. And Jaden Porter is just slowly hanging in the background. He is there with a chance at creeping back up to the race leader off of the final corner.
He's kind of maintained that half a second gap for a little bit now, as he is seeming to lurk behind Kelly, and he's being very patient right now, and that is something that you kind of got to do as a driver, kind of wait for them to mess up in front of you, stay patient. These next gens, though, as the run progresses, they're going to get harder and harder to pass in when you two are running pretty similar times. So we know we can't make it all the way on fuel. If we get a yellow now, all strategy is out the window, but you got to be having some strategy questions in your head. I don't know if you're saving fuel right now, because obviously you're not going to make it to the end of the race, so I doubt there's much saving going on, but maybe some mind games being played. Who's going to dart the pit road first? We probably still have 20-30 laps until that is a discussion, but you got to be thinking it a little bit. As we see Brandon Hawken, he's moved into the 3rd position now, trying to make his presence felt on the top 2 after flipping up a little bit earlier.
And this is what he likes to see, right? Long green flag runs. That's where Hawkins shows out his best. And while he did lose some of those races this season because of long runs against guys like Jaden Porter, against guys like Steven Maggio, he is still one of those drivers always to watch for. And here as he creeps in, he was about 2/10 faster than the top 2 drivers on the track with a 31.189 last time we crossed the start-finish line. So Brandon Hawken is there with an attempt to catch up and beat both of the leaders right now, right before the edge of the green flag pit stop window. We'll see, because he is gaining a ton of time, and I think so is Scott Healy. They're both faster than Kelly and Porter, and Kelly will remain up front, but there is a heap of race cars building up behind him. Tons of pressure because Jaden has been slowly creeping up and pulling the rope. Hawken and Healy, though, are dragging this one down And with 37 laps to go, one pit stop remains, Keelan, but I'm sure Curtis Kelly isn't thinking about that right now.
No, he is thinking about all these fast guys and all the wins that are stacked behind him right now as he looks for his first of the year. Jaden Porter, he may have to put the gas on it. He has close to Kelly a little bit more than he has the last 10 laps or so, and I think that may be a product of Brandon Hawken reeling him in. He realizes he has to make his presence felt on Kelly. You saw him get a little bit of loose on 1 and 2 right there, which shows me his handling is starting to go away on these race cars as the run develops. He slips up and gives the spot to Hawken, as Scott Healy, last week's winner, now may try to make a move on that 98 for the second spot. Lost the spot a little bit ago. Not going to let him get too far out, though. Now I'm scared if I'm Curtis Kelly. The guy who has been dominant this season. Whenever he shows up, he finds a way to win. I'm a little nervous right now.
Well, you've got one guy in Brandon Hawken who was second place to Luke Knupp all race last season, and Scott Healy, who's in his proper first All-Star race after we had a big hiatus from the first All-Star race many years ago. And then last season, Scott Healy was not a part of that, I don't believe. Actually, I think he was. So Healy was in that All-Star race last season, but he did not make much inroads. And as Brandon Hawken slides loose off turn 4, he is still there. The Chevrolet down low makes a peek at the inside. Brandon Hawken to the All-Star lead, and here comes Scott Healy to the bottom.
Really not letting them get too far apart. Back at New Hampshire, these guys were all on top of each other coming to the end of this race. That being Healy and Hawken, as that 64 continues to lurk back there. He's going to keep the pressure on the 98 as the 98 slips and slides through the center of 3 and 4 right there. Might open up a window for Healy. All he has to do is get to that corner and maybe pull a little bit of side draft. What he does right there is he's now going to shoot it into turn 1. Race for the lead. Scott Healy going to get around the 98. 98 going to try to get the turn through the center, try to do a crossover, but Healy does a great job parking it on the bottom side of the racetrack and keeping his momentum all the way through. Scott Healy takes over the lead in the All-Star race.
And Keelan, what does this remind you of between these two?
What does it remind me of?
Well, when you look back at Chicagoland last season, this was the exact running order. Scott Healy, Brandon Hawken using two different ways of running around the 1.5 miles. And Scott Healy using the bottom, being able to get around the Canadians. So this is a mirror image as they approach lap traffic. That is Francisco Bacalhau, the only car of lap traffic to note right now. And not that many other cars right now in that lapped group that are just still on the racetrack, apart from Eric Schaefer, who was out there for a moment in that drama with Stephen Maggio not that long ago. And mind you, the top 4 have absolutely pulled away from everyone else. You watch this battle for 5th, and they are a mere 3.5 seconds away from the race leader, and Austin Reedy is 2.5 seconds away from the 4th place car in Jaden Porter. So as Reedy fights with his teammate in Kyle Benson, probably having some fun on the racetrack right now, that pit stop may be pivotal for them because they will take the longest while to get to them, and they need a big-time alternative strategy, Keelan, just to find themselves in the right place.
It's going to take a big miracle out of anybody probably 5th on back right now, and if these guys racing for 3rd right now keep staying all over each other, it's going to have to take a miracle for them too. You got to be looking caution back there if you're back there, though, because these front 2 that are in the race lead now have been the fastest guys since they took over, and they're starting to gap everybody. You see Eric Schaefer pull off pit road back there. Looking at Jaden Porter, though, he had a fun trip in the broadcast booth for the All-Star Open, calling Curtis Kelly's advancement from the Open to tonight's main event, and he's been our only guy that has broadcasted today to not have too many problems, knock on wood, as he keeps that BBR car steady in the 3rd position.
And he's the second of the 3 broadcasters earlier on tonight to still have a fight in this race, because Kyle Benson, although he spun earlier on in this race, he's still back there in P6, so still a chance at least for the Williamsport, Pennsylvania native. But we saw all of these guys take the booth with Lawson, Jaden, and Kyle earlier on for that 35-lap open. I want to ask you something, Keelan. What was your critiques? What did you think of how they did? Because they asked us how they thought, or we thought they did in the broadcast booth. What do you think they did?
Well, I thought they did a pretty good job for not having too much experience up there. They kind of made me feel good when they said you found appreciation for the guys who are up here every week, because they don't know what they go through. Only critique, if I had to critique anybody, it's got to be Lawson, because this guy, he sees one thing, he gets excited, he gets up there and he starts He'll let everybody at home know what's happening on the racetrack, and that's not a bad thing. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Maybe tone it down just a little bit if I had to make one critique for Lost.
Well, I like those critiques as well. I mean, lots of stuff from the three of them. I would have loved to hear a little more from Jaden. I think that, Tyler may have intimidated him a little earlier on, because when we brought up the idea that we wanted to have Lawson, Kyle, and Jaden in the broadcast booth, Tyler just kept telling Jaden, don't mess up, don't mess up, don't mess up. So I don't know if that sort of got Jaden a little bit scared, as there's a spinner on pit road. Curtis Kelly, who was the first one to take an effort down there, nearly at 25 laps to go, goes for a spill, and Tony Kibbett follows suit.
I think that didn't bring out the yellow there, Kenneth, because sometimes iRacing likes to have a happy finger on an incident like that, and they'll throw the yellow, but Kelly just kind of slides it coming in. That will probably put the nail in the coffin for any shot to win this thing this evening, barring any caution flag that comes out. That will really mess things up for him, as we see Scott Healy continuing to lead out front, coming to 25 laps to go. He was the first one to take a move in that 71 car, but with how he entered pit road, I'm not sure if anybody else feels pressured to make that move, at least for a couple laps. We are kind of reaching the midpoint of that fuel run we are in, so kind of split these last 50 laps, 25 and 25, seems to be a decent strategy. As we see Steven Maggio in a 51. I'm surprised he didn't get more damage from that one incident with Eric Schaefer earlier. He has climbed his way all the way up to 6th, as we see movers on the pit road. Austin Reedy in the Flow Racing car comes down.
It looks like Brandon Hawken also took his Chevrolet into pit road as well, so two of those Murray Reedy Motorsports Mustangs in Reedy and Lownslager are in. There is Hawken inside pit road. And the question as to who strikes next, it may be Jaden Porter riding in second, who bled off a ton of time to the race leaders in Healy and Hawken, but is remaining out on the racetrack. Actually, there is the race leader now. Scott Healy in at lap 76.
Got to be 4 tires and fuel here is what I'm thinking, and we're going to have to see often Kyle Benson on the front straightaway in trouble, and all your strategy, you can throw it out the window, as there is trouble. Kyle Benson, his second time bringing out the caution flag this evening, off of turn 4, almost the same spot we saw it earlier, all by himself here off of turn number 2. Oh boy.
Oh, and 4, Scott Healy, is that a dagger? Will he fall a lap down because of all of this? As a look with Benson, who was all way sideways off the corner, just catches the transition and goes up into the wall. And while Curtis Kelly had this spill, he was off the racing line, so iRacing wouldn't throw the yellow, but for Benson, they do. So yellow flag out with 22 laps to go. Here's a look from Benson once again.
Yeah, you see him get on the brakes, try to make it down a pit road, and just caught it at a really bad angle right there, and that's what spun the race car around. He did a good job locking it down, keeping out of the fence, and had a good enough gap to everybody else, but nobody else really caught him. I think Healy should be good, because he was on pit road just then, getting passed by Jaden Porter. He's not going to get an entering close pits penalty, because he was on pit road as it came out. He sits 7th right now. We will see how this all cycles out, though, as we see everybody else on the lead lap come down. Brandon Hawken out there staying out. I'm wondering if Hawken did fall victim to going a lap down, though, because he just came off pit road as that yellow came out.
Well, he is still on the lead lap. It looks like Curtis Kelly's just getting his lap back, but you've got plenty of drivers that are a lap down, and I think Scott Healy may have also escaped. He is 7th on the racetrack and still gaining track position because he was stay out here just because he just pitted not that long ago. So thankfully, most of them do not fall a lap down. The drivers that did are sort of getting their laps back. So thankfully, the caution hit at the right time. Here's the battle off pit road. Not really too much of a battle to note of, though. Jaden Porter going to be out first. Tyler Murray and Nicholas Bauman follow suit, second and third off of the pit lane, and several others follow in their track. So Scott Healy, I believe, Keelan, is the only car to stay out this time by. So he will lead the field back to green with under 20 laps to go. And what a drive it's been. However, we have not seen Scott Healy on fresh tires in clean air just yet. He's always restarted this race in the midst of the top 5 and top 10. He's never had a chance at leading the group back to the green flag. But, I mean, we talk about what happened at Kansas last week. There was so much momentum going his way, and after all of the chaos that went down, and Healy was able to take the win, this may just be another added bonus to his momentum.
It sure can, and I don't think Murray confirmed last week he's not going to have enough starts to make the minimum start requirement to make the playoffs. But if he keeps taking wins from people, he may be able to point his way in. I'm not sure how that. I think the minimum starts is for wins, right? Not playoffs only. So if he can point his way in, that'd be something. That's a good Tyler Murray question. We'll get on to him about that. But I believe Brandon Hawkins did get trapped a lap down in this cycle, Kenneth, because he was right behind the leaders when they came down pit road. And Hawkins came around. He's taking a wave around right now, so that will be the biggest loser out of this pit cycle. Caution coming out at a terrible time. He's going to be sitting back in 10th, I believe is what it says.
Well, not the biggest bleed off for Brandon Hawkins. I mean, Curtis Kelly is in there too. We've got several of the fastest cars on the racetrack that did almost get trapped a lap down, but I think the good thing is that they all just got this wave around. So technically, under timing and scoring, they will be on the lead lap, and we have 14 of those cars that are still in the lead group with a chance to win this thing. The first car several laps down is 15th place Adam Alashire, then Francisco Bacallao, and then the huge list of cars, most of them DNFing after the big crash that occurred near the beginning of this race. Rodney Roberts is out of it. Remember Dusty Applin getting sent into the outside wall hard. He's back in 20th. AJ Green out of this race. He's 21st. Lawson Peel still trying to repair his Chevrolet in 22nd. And of course Mikey Neal, who fell back early after starting on the front row and crashing later on. 20 laps to go at the stripe. Scott Healy, the race leader. Jaden Porter tries to anticipate the jump, but it stacks up everyone on the outside lane. Scott Healy in the chase back to turn 1 with control.
Porter guessed a little bit early and had to back it off so he didn't have to serve a black flag. He's now going to have to fight league owner Tyler Murray, who out of nowhere has been shot out of a cannon in today's All-Star race. He's going to battle for that second position tight as Scott Healy, with 20 laps to go, starts to pull away from the field. There goes Tyler Murray with his MRMS teammates behind him, pushing them forward. Second place for the league owner, his best run by far this year.
And the highest he's been all race long. Second place as they are nearly 4 wide and they're stacking it up right behind in turn 1. Curtis Kelly, Nicholas Bauman, Steven Maggio, they get a piece of the outside wall, but no trouble to ignite the yellow flag. We are still merely 3 wide into turn 3, and Brandon Hawkins pierces his way into P6.
I saw him make a mad dash to the outside on the back straightaway there. Everybody doing a great job of car control up here to keep their cars pointed straight. And with the momentum, he pushes Steven Maggio past Kyle Benson. And that will put Maggio into the 4th position. And Hawkins going to try to take the 5th position, maybe a bit of contact. They're going to keep it straight, 3 wide behind them, though.
He's got a tiptoe through turn 3. That's his teammate Austin Reedy down low. Curtis Kelly and Brandon Hawkins filling the space up high. And now Tristan Bailey wants an effort back there. This is the main pack that goes about 10 or 11 cars deep. Now Benson at the back of it, finally getting away from 3 wide as Jaden Porter tries to strike back in 2nd place, coming to 16 laps to go. Scott Healy still ahead by at least 2 or 3 car lengths, and Tyler Murray under the most pressure right now because he's got a BBR duo that is strong. Porter and Maggio, 2nd and 3rd behind Murray back to turns 3 and 4.
Now, you think in an all-star race, Kenneth, you think these two teammates could be working together to get around Murray? Well, that opportunity's out the window now as there goes Brandon Hawkins, taking the 4th position away for now. They're still going to be even racing down into turn number 1. Still side by side. This is great racing here in the closing stages. Hawkins trying to keep it on his quarter panel. He'll do it, and they'll continue side by side as Jaden Porter makes a move for 2nd.
And this will help Porter in his efforts to get around, but not anymore as Brandon Hawkins finally clears for 4th place above Steven Maggio. Enters Nicholas Bauman and Curtis Kelly. The Mobil 1 Ford Mustang gets a touch of the outside barrier. And here comes Brandon Hawkins, the Sucker Punch Chevrolet, looking to the bottom alley in turn 1. That's for 3rd place on Jaden Porter.
Porter going to try to stick with him down the back straightaway. He's going to get some help from his BBR teammate right there in Steven Maggio. Get past Hawkins for now. You got to repay the favor if you're Porter here now in the straightaway. Give Maggio a bit of draft. Try to see if y'all can both get around him. It's going to be hard, though. That 98 is fast, and he has been sent to the back twice already today. I don't think he's scared of it again.
Charlie
He's gonna
Byer
be racing
Photography
hard.
onboard camera with Jaden Porter. And look at how close this is getting. Austin Reedy bouncing off Curtis Kelly on the inside of turns 1 and 2. And look just how far Murray and Healy have been able to scoot away from the rest of the competition just because Porter is holding up a big wall. Here comes Maggio. Outside look off turn 4, but he cannot complete the pass.
These guys are all over each other for the last step on the podium here in today's All-Star race. Every position matters as Porter getting a run on the outside of Hawken. He's going to get him clear for third right there. He's going to hang on to that podium spot as Maggio continues to reel in Hawken. These guys trading blow for blow for these top 5 spots.
Now here comes Hawken again. Big run out of turn 4. Gets in the effort to the bottom end of the speedway on the Louisville, Kentucky native. And again, you talked about how BBR could work together to stifle Brandon Hawken. The only problem is, as they continue to do so against the 3-time winner this season, Tyler Murray and Scott Healy are saying bye-bye if there are no yellow flags. From here on out, the field has thinned considerably to about 15 or so cars. Hawken again peaks down low. Porter plays the defense, and now the gap back to the leader from Jaden Porter. 1.2 seconds off the final corner.
And Porter slaps the wall there, and that may be all she wrote on the battle for Brandon Hawken. He's going to take that spot away and force those two BBR teammates side by side. Maggio wrapping the bottom side of the racetrack on board with him. He does a really good job running the bottom right there. Going to get up there and try to side draft Hawken. Not quite close enough. He's going to be stuck side by side with his teammate. And now Porter and Hawken have kind of traded positions.
And you can peek at that red and white Ford Mustang in the background. That is Austin Reedy. Now they're 3 wide off turn 4. Make it 4 wide momentarily. The blue, red, and white Chevrolet of Brandon Banks and the PaulsCars.com Camaro tried looking down low. And all of a sudden, we are in a mess of race cars. A hornet's nest off turn 2.
It is a huge wad of races as Bailey and Banks make contacts right there. Bailey gets sideways. He's going to keep it straight for now, as it is a wad of race cars trying to get every position they can. And that last spot in the top 10, that is the last bonus point that will be given out tonight. So some guys are going to be looking for that spot as Lautenschlager slides through the grass and Banks gets spun around by Bailey on the front straightaway. Can he keep it going? No. Caution comes out with 9 laps to go as Banks and Bailey make contact to bring out another caution flag. And that big lead that Healy and Murray had is now out of the equation.
And this changes everything. Pit stop strategy might kick in with under 10 laps to go. And we almost saw this coming, Keelan. They were nearly 4 wide for a moment. Brandon Banks was in the heart of things. He just gets loose. Snap of oversteer off of turn 4. Tristan Bailey tries looking under. Then a bit of contact with Trevor Haley. And Bailey just catches the quarter panel of Banks' Chevrolet, and it sends him for the spin. And thankfully, he saves it, Keelan, but I think the fact that he was already spinning on the racing line was enough for iRacing to throw the yellow flag. We'll see if we can get a better look at this from the look on board with Brandon Banks, who sees that Love's Ford Mustang peak underneath. I mean, there's nowhere to go here when you make a slight mistake off the corner, and you're just bouncing off of race cars at this point.
Yeah, probably just a little misjudgment there is what scoots it around. It's kind of like what happened to Bailey in the open off the bumper of Curtis Kelly, I believe it was. I can't quite remember, but I really thought here they come down pit road. Everybody comes in but Tyler Murray. He says he wants to win this thing, Kenneth. I like it.
He's going to go out and hope that he can make it stick on old tires that are 15 laps in the running. Kyle Benson is electing to stay out as well, but this is the run into pit lane. Nice pit entry there for Scott Healy, Jaden Porter, and Steven Maggio in without a problem. Brandon Hawken further up the road with a chance at beating these guys off the lane. 2 tires can be a viable call, and there goes Maggio with a look off pit road first. Can he beat Hawken there? Answer is no. Brandon Hawken leads off pit road. Only caveat, they'll be third on back for those Ford Mustangs that have stayed out, Killen. Do you like this call?
I mean, It's the All-Star race, Kenneth. You think this race doesn't mean anything to some of these guys? Take a look at this right here. Tyler Murray having the best run of his race, and with an opportunity to go out there and have a shot to win this thing. I like it. And Kyle Benson, they're probably in that the MRMS call right now. Murray said, I'm staying out. This is my only shot. Benson, he probably said, you know what? I'll join you. He's going to try to help out his friend right here. Do what they can for a shot to win this thing, as it's going to be the MRMS guys leading us to the green. And two of our winningest drivers this year right behind them. If that's not intimidating, I don't know what is.
Well, we've got two drivers that are desperately hungry, and we know just how much these guys need the bonus points. Maybe not Benson as consistent as he's been all season, but Murray. I mean, look at the heap of momentum he caught after the win at Talladega last season. Even though he wasn't one of those drivers fighting for the immediate championship, he could make it work. Let's bring in our third member of the broadcast team, Francisco Bacalhau. Francisco, your quick thoughts after a pivotal caution. We're going to have a restart inside 5 laps to go.
That battle for the win is going to be crazy, but I still have over a minute of optionals left.
So, Francisco, do you think this is a good call by Murray and Benson? Do you think it's viable?
They're going to have 5 laps to go. It's worth trying, but those tires, man, we saw in the open how crucial they are. They might have the added factor of being able to use the cooler track conditions to their advantage, so I'm just hoping for chaos here to see if I can grab some more spots.
Well, hopefully it all works out for you, Francisco. Thank you for joining us. Best of luck, hopefully, in these final 5 if you're able to make it.
No problem. Good luck, you guys.
All right, we'll see what happens. Tyler Murray, the race leader. Kyle Benson on the outside of the front row. Mind you, they stayed out, did not take tires or fuel. Brandon Hawken and everyone else behind have taken 4 fresh tires or 2 and a splash of fuel to make it to the end. Hawken on 2 tires, so is Maggio, so is Porter, so is Curtis Kelly, the first car to take 4 tires. Former race leader Scott Healy in that yellow and black Chevrolet on the inside of row 5. 5 laps to go at the start-finish line for the All-Star race from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Can one driver strike the jackpot at the checkered? Green flag back in the air, and it is a wonderful jump for the Speedco Mustang, but Brandon Hawken finds the inside of Murray's teammate in turn 1.
Looks like he struggled to get through the gears. He's going to slide up a little bit, open the door, and Murray goes sideways and around. Around he goes, Hawkins sideways. They stack it up behind him. Tristan Bailey involved, as they are not going to throw the caution quite yet, as now it's Nicholas Bauman in the 14. Where did he come from?
What a sequence off turn 2, and Murray is still sideways off the final corner. It looked like it would have ignited a yellow, but iRacing Race Control says let them have at it. Nicholas Bauman breaks free in the midst of it all, and he's on 2 fresh Goodyear Eagles.
Kyle Benson, no tires behind him. He's going to have to try and do something. We have seen Benson in 4 or 5 different incidents today. He has been all over the place, but in this All-Star race, it's the one race you can have a bunch of chaos and get away with it. We saw Curtis Kelly. He went for a slide on pit road earlier, and now with 3 laps to go, he sits back there in 3rd. They're all trying to make a run at the rookie, Nicholas Bauman.
And there is Curtis Kelly peeking to the inside of Benson. Remember, on no tires there on the outside. So Curtis Kelly has a chance to win this thing. Coming to 2 laps to go. Nicholas Bauman in the Office Depot Ford Mustang will see the final 3 miles approach him. 2 laps to go from Sin City.
Could you write a better script, Kenneth? 2 laps to go. 2 guys in the All-Star race who are looking for momentum to make a playoff push at the end of this regular season. 2 guys who have yet to reach victory lane in Season 7, dueling it out for the All-Star race. Bauman breaks the draft down the backstretch after emerging from all the chaos on that restart. He's going to have to fend off Curtis Kelly, who has led a lot of laps today, for just 1 more of them. 1 to go in the Season 7 All-Star race.
White flag in the air from the virtual Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and it's a Tony Stewart-inspired number 14 that can take this to the checkered. But the Canadian Curtis Kelly wants more, and he's also on 2 fresh Goodyear Eagles. Final attempt. In the final 2 corners, Kelly will give it a shot to the inside, but Nicholas Baumann will walk out of turn 4 with a chance at the win. He's loose. Curtis Kelly to the inside. Drag race to the stripe, and Nicholas Baumann survives to win the Season 7 All-Star race.
Just incredible stuff, Kenneth. Oh my goodness. Nicholas Baumann, the rookie, gets it done in a drag race with Curtis Kelly, gets the congratulations from Kyle Benson. And we're going to have to get a look at that restart, Kenneth, because where did Nicholas Baumann come from? 2 weeks in a row, we have incidents up front on restarts, and 2 weeks in a row, it is a miracle walk-off win. This time for Nicholas Baumann, he'll visit Paul Setup Shot Victory Lane. Teammate Trevor Haley giving him the props.
It's not an official W to get him into the playoffs, but bonus points may just be the second best thing to give. Nicholas Baumann, for the first time, is an all-star winner in 4 wide, and he beats Curtis Kelly to the line by 15 1/1000ths of a second after scurrying away from the mayhem with those several laps to go. Let's get a look at how that all unfolded, because you're right, Keelan, I don't even know how this Mobil 1 machine got through in those final laps. Here's a look at the restart as he began this from the outside of row 3. So you'll see Tyler Murray playing defense on Brandon Hawken. That's where the trouble starts. Murray will get turned by Hawken in the first 2 corners. Maggio and several others get loose, and Baumann just sneaks to the inside. Got the runoff of turn 2 and just soloing it after everything went down below. And remember, Kyle Benson walking alone on no tires or gas on his Ford Mustang. So Baumann immediately takes control. But how about the run to the final corner on the white flag lap? Curtis Kelly making an effort at it late after Baumann gets loose. I mean, that's a rookie trying to keep himself at the front and trying eagerly to get to the checkered flag. Curtis Kelly gave it his best shot, but the 5-hour energy machine will get second place, and Nicholas Baumann will walk away victorious. Can you believe it, Keelan Belsha?
That is just incredible stuff, Kenneth. And I talked about it at Daytona when we started this season. Nicholas Baumann had only been on the sim for just a few months up to that point. He was out there leading laps, and I was so impressed with it. Because how do you join the sim, immediately hop into a league race in a league like 4 wide, and perform that well? This day was coming for him, and at the intermediates, where we know Dark Horse has speed, Nicholas Baumann finishes it in the first position. Curtis Kelly just 1/100th back from a shot to win the thing. He was that close. He'll finish in the second position. Kyle Benson, who we saw in many incidents all throughout the day, ends up finishing his 38 car in the 3rd spot. Scott Healy, last week's winner at Kansas, had a lot of speed there late. Cautions did not fall his way. He finishes in 4th. Steven Maggio, who we saw have a little bit of drama with Eric Schaefer earlier, finds a way to put his car in 5th. Brandon Hawken, who split back through the field twice today, ends up putting his car in 6th. Austin Reedy, who transferred out of the Open, finishes in 7th. Christopher Bishop, our fan vote winner, brings it home in 8th. Craig Lautenschlager finishes a nice row of MRMS cars in 9th. And Trevor Haley, the other Dark Horse Racing product, finishes in 10th.
Back in 11th is Brandon Banks, who went spinning to bring out the pivotal caution inside 5 laps to go. Tyler Murray, despite his best efforts for staying out on the final restart, it did not pan out his way. He finishes in 12th. Jaden Porter back in 13th. The final car registered on the lead lap before Adam Alashire clocks in from 14th, 1 lap down. Francisco Bacchial, kept his foot in it, kept his car on the racetrack, and he ends up only 15th. 3 laps down, so a pretty good recovery for the Hialeah, Florida native. Tristan Bailey back in 16th. Eric Schaefer found some trouble early and was 12 laps down in 17th at the stripe. Tony Kibbett also found trouble late. He is 18th. Rodney Robertson 19th. And Dusty Applin rounds out the top 20. We start getting into the bits and parts of the field. Drivers that were involved in heavy accidents for early on. Lawson Peel, one of them. AJ Green and Mikey Neal round out the 23-car field from the virtual Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And in Paul's setup shop victory lane for the first time in the season, it's Nicholas Baumann, not in an actual official capacity, but it's a win nonetheless. Nicholas, after everything that's happened this season and after starting on the front row tonight, could you have ever expected the end of the race to go down the way it did?
Nope, not especially after that long green flag run. Man, once you get that right rear tire hot, it's so hard to get it back. I about lost it several times.
And it was really close coming off of turn 4 at the white flag lap. But I mean, you had the perspective, the vantage point, probably better than them all. On the 2 tires, you get by Kyle Benson, you lead this thing with the several laps that are left. What's going through your mind in that moment when you see the field crash on the inside and you have clear track but Kyle Benson in front of you?
Just no caution. No caution, nobody wreck it.
Well, Nicholas, we know that Dark Horse Motorsports has been around since last season, but it was only one car, and Trevor Haley had patrolled his Ford to a playoff position and was able to do well for himself. You guys expand this team to about 4 or 5 cars, and you are one of the big additions to this Dark Horse Motorsports camp. And while you guys haven't been able to win a race this season quite yet, what does this mean for you to get a win in the All-Star race, get those bonus points to your benefit, and also get the benefit of Dark Horse Motorsports cheering you on until the end?
Oh, man, it means a ton. Big confidence boost for the whole organization moving forward. Hopefully we can keep it up and get all 3 of us into the playoffs. I know Juan had a bad night tonight, and he's had some bad luck as of late. But he and Trevor are definitely going to get up here at some point.
Well, it's one shining moment here in Sin City. Nicholas, congratulations on the All-Star W. Before we let you go, anybody in particular you want to give a shout out to for tonight?
Shout out to my teammates, Trevor, Juan, our buddy Tim, who puts this whole thing together. Want to shout out my grandmother, she might not be watching, but she's been battling some stuff. So I'm thinking about her. And pretty much everybody that just made this whole thing possible.
Well, Nicholas, on behalf of all of us at the KBueno Racing Network, a big-time congratulations on the All-Star W. I know it means a lot to you and the team, and we'll see you at Iowa in a couple of weeks' time. I know maybe that will be the push in the front door that you guys are looking for at Dark Horse Motorsports. Congratulations on the All-Star win.
Yep, thank you, Kenneth.
That's Nicholas Bauman in Paul's setup shop, victory lane for the very first time. Keelan Belshaw, one driver, fell short, though, by 15 one-thousandths of a second, and that's Curtis Kelly.
Yeah, Curtis, back to front to back to front. That was the story of your race today. Qualified in from the Open, not quite top 3 of the Open, but your good point situation puts you in there. You climbed all the way up to the race lead, led 29 laps, came down pit road, spun it out, had to have some work to do, and you ended up finishing 15 one-thousandths of a second short of a race win. Take us through the race.
It was an exciting one. A few mistakes at the wrong time, but honestly, it put us in the right place at the right time. You know, that little spin there. We fortunately didn't get in the big one early on that took out, I gotta say, half the contenders for this race win, I think. There was a lot of people in that, which was unfortunate. So we didn't get to see a real all-star race, I want to say, but I don't know, just loose track, progressively getting looser. You kind of had to stay on top of it. You slid it once or twice. You started to really pay the price. So I learned that early in the first short stint we did and focused on just taking it easy through the starts of the run after that. Didn't quite have the tire saving that Brandon Hawken did on that long run to get himself all the way back up front again, but pretty good tire saving.
Yeah, for sure. This all-star race, it's one that definitely brings bragging rights to it, and you were just 15 one-thousandths of a second short of it. This Las Vegas racetrack seems to be in your wheelhouse as all these intermediates you seem to be running up front in, and a good second place finish. Your best finish of the season, technically. We'd go back to third for your best points paying finish, but what does it mean to be so close to the all-star race, and how will you use this for momentum for the remainder of the regular season as you make a playoff push?
Well, there's only 3 steps on the podium, and we're one step closer to that number 1 spot, so maybe that'll come sooner or later. But nice to finish up front, nice to get a few bonus points out of the day here, and just a lot of strong competition. It's nice to get a lot of clean guys running out there racing hard. There was a lot of fun battles and great racing.
That's for sure. As you continue to push forward to the playoffs and a shot at a 4-wide championship. Well, Curtis, go ahead and take a second to thank everybody you want to thank for making your run possible today.
Like always, shout out to you guys for putting on a great show. Always look forward to watching it. shout out to all the people that make the league great. Tyler for putting on this show. It's a fun one. I'm happy we get to have cool events like this. It changes it up a bit, gives us something to look forward to. And just all the guys on stonks and not stonks, but still kind of stonks, you know. We didn't have the best day as a team, but pretty good day.
Well, thank you for joining us, Curtis. And I think, is that a dog behind you chewing a chew
Oh
toy
yeah,
that's
I got a
intended
dog
for
that's
you?
got to go out. It's a little dinosaur type thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounded like he was pretty excited for you to get on the podium. So congratulations, Curtis. We look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks' time.
Appreciate it.
Curtis Kelly finishing in the second position as Kenneth's going to have a word with Kyle Benson, who seemed to be in every incident that could have been a thing today.
Well, Kyle, you had an experience tonight. You broadcasted an open race earlier on with Lawson and Jaden. You take the green flag, you lead some laps, you run up front, you end up in a spin down the grass, then you come back only to end up in another situation trying to come down pit road, and then here you make the gamble to not take any tires and it pans out for third. What was all of that like in your end?
Talk about a roller coaster. Holy crap. Basically, I didn't think tires are gonna matter when the sun went down, so I took a gamble and it kind of paid off. I've never driven a loose race car, at least a loose next gen car, in almost a year, so kind of threw me off. But it was fun though. I mean, it was definitely talk about an up and down night. I was broadcasting and then I was racing and then I was spinning through the grass, almost flipping, and now we're here. So I think it was overall just a nice little quiet night for me, I guess.
And describe what happened there on the restart coming to the white flag and in those final 3 or so laps, because you're staying out with your league owner and teammate, Tyler Murray. All of a sudden, he gets turned. Everything happens on the inside of the racetrack while you're up high. What did you see there, and what was the live reaction in that moment?
Well, I just kind of hope they didn't get hit. I just saw him come back up the racetrack, but I saw that he got a little bobble coming in the entry of one, and like when he hit the bump coming in the one, and it just shot him up just enough where Hawking just kind of hit him in the left rear, and it was just kind of a bad news bears from that point forward. But yeah, I was just kind of hoping I didn't get hit because I kind of came out of 4. I was like, holy crap, nobody's around me, and then Bowman kind of blew by me on the inside. But it was definitely something, I'll tell you what.
So you and Curtis Kelly come into this race in the top 5 in point standings. You guys walk out of here with now extra bonus points issued to you as you come into this one second behind Jaden Porter in the standings. What does that mean for you now as you try and build the momentum for the second half of the regular season?
I just got to turn it on. I mean, definitely, you just got to put it together. I mean, I can, you can run, top 5 in the race from all the way to like halfway through the race and get wrecked. It doesn't matter at the end. So I just got to put races together. I mean, I know one's going to fall my way at least one of these times, but we just got to know that we're there. And I mean, I know I'm there. It's just, it's so hard to win, with dudes coming in, like with Hawking and Peel and Maggio and Porter all showing up. So, I mean, I'm not going to say I'm the fourth fiddle, but I can definitely hold my own with those guys. But, I just kind of making sure I just know what I'm racing for and, just having patience. I didn't have patience that first few laps and cause some stuff that I need to cause, but really just kind of have to take it, race by race. And I know got a few races coming up that are kind of in my wheelhouse. I know we got a road course. I know we got Pocono and Iowa's coming up. So, but I don't know. We'll see. I've been known to turn it on when it matters most, and I hope I do it again this year.
Well, Kyle, a wonderful finish to this race, despite the gamble on pit road, even though it wasn't to make a stop on pit road a little earlier on. Before we let you go, anybody you want to give a shout out to or thank for tonight's race?
Yeah, I want to appreciate y'all for letting me just go up in the booth for a little bit. I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. I want to thank everybody who put this together. This was definitely one of our biggest stretches we've done. I know it didn't seem like a lot, but I know a lot of stuff happened behind the scenes that we were working on. It was really cool how it panned out. We had a really good race overall. I mean, there was a few spots where, we had a few sour spots, but I just want to thank everybody who, just tried with our patience. I'm happy with the field we brought in. It was a nice, healthy 25 cars roughly. So I was definitely excited though. It was a lot of fun. I just want to thank everybody who participated in both the events. But I want to thank my team, Murbury Motorsports. They are always a hoot to be around. I want to thank everybody who tunes in and look at me get a little ass happy coming out. Oh, I can't say that. Oh man, I was doing so well. Anywho, yeah, it was a lot of fun though. Overall, I had a great time, and I'll see y'all next week, hopefully.
Well, look, I know we gave you a tall task of being the play-by-play for the All-Star Open race, but you did a really good job, and it was awesome seeing you take the track along with Take the Mic earlier on in this event. Kyle, we appreciate the time. Congratulations on the third place finish, and we'll see you at Iowa in a couple of weeks.
All right, thank you.
That is Kyle Benson. Want to apologize a bit for the language there, but very happy Benson is Keelan Belsha to get third place out of all of that. I mean, his teammate didn't do so well because he got turned by Hawken into turn one, but when you make a call to take no Goodyear Eagles while the rest of the field decides they want to, it is a pretty tough call, but you got to give him props and the rest of the top three for doing what they could at the end, especially Nicholas Baumann getting his first career win, albeit through the All-Star race.
And I'll tell you what, Kenneth, I don't think there is a happier man in our viewership right now than King Diamond Production. Every week, that guy's in there. I think that's the team owner. Every week he's in there rooting on Dark Horse and going 2 for 2 tonight. I mean, a Trevor Haley Open and a Nicholas Baumann main event. What a night for that team. A team that has been struggling to get the results they wanted besides here and there, and to put 2 cars in victory lane tonight. That is just awesome for Dark Horse Racing. They're getting some momentum on their side at the right time. This is kind of the time you want to peak when you want to make a playoff push. And while this win doesn't qualify Nicholas Baumann, it is one that is definitely going to shift some momentum in his direction. And it's a race tonight that I think helped a lot of guys learn. You heard Kyle Benson talk about it, how the car gradually got loose as the race developed, and as the sun went down, it's kind of weird. I didn't expect that, Kenneth. Usually when you talk about a hot, slick racetrack, that's when it is kind of loose on you. But as the nighttime came around, these guys are talking about how much looser the car developed. And I mean, any track time is good track time. So a lot of these guys just learning more and applying it more, and that's what makes them better drivers and gives them a shot to push for the playoffs.
So now as we move forward throughout this 2024-25 season, we're onwards to Iowa. That's where we go next time out. We'll go to the Rusty Wallace's built Speedway there in Iowa. That'll be on February 12th. So we'll take a break next Wednesday, but we'll be back the following Wednesday night on the 12th. That'll be at 8:45 p.m. Eastern. You'll find the pre-race coverage sponsored by Dropping the Hammer, and the rest of it live on the KBueno Racing Network YouTube channel. That's a look at what the rest of the regular season will look like up until our playoff opener at the Virtual Auto Club Speedway. That'll kick off later this season, but not that many weeks to go. We had a blast through the first part of this regular season, so the second part probably will feel a little bit shorter. But Iowa next in 2 weeks' time. We'll see how that fares with all of the drivers as they get down to business. But that'll do it for our coverage of the Season 7 All-Star Race for the Virtual Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Nicholas Baumann with his first career win, even though it's in an unofficial stand. For Tyler Murray and the entire admin team and council at 4 Wide Racing, and for everyone at the KBueno Racing Network that helped on the broadcast tonight, for my colleagues Francisco Bacalhau, Charlie Beyer, and Keelan Belsha, and obviously our broadcast members that are also drivers, Kyle Benson, Lawson Peel, and Jaden Porter. I'm Kenneth Bueno, waving so long from Sin City. Nicholas Baumann, the winner in the 2025 All-Star Race.